Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. We have a special edition tonight with an old schooler. One from the old times, back in the day, as they call it. I have with me respected boxing writer. I would even go on to say boxing journalist. None other than Cameron Gillon. Cameron, are you in the house?
What's going on, Ingram? How you doing?
Morning, my friend.
It's been a long time.
Like shall we do the house like that, or should we do the house like this? Or keep it like that?
Yeah.
So, for those people who don't know who you are, I think you're going to have, because you kind of went missing for a while, but let people know who you are, so you can, the floor is yours, chap.
Yeah, I've been writing, well, I did a lot of boxing writing, and I did YouTube channel a few years back, and I got into the writing aspect a few years after that. So probably like when I first started YouTube, obviously I was listening to you and we did a few shows together. I was doing a few interviews on my channel back then. And then I got into the writing aspect, and I was doing interviews through writing. I did stuff for Boxing Monthly, who obviously sadly is no longer. And I did stuff for papers, the Manchester Evening News, Bolton News, Liverpool Echo. A lot of my interviews are in those newspapers. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And nowadays I've kind of stepped back because obviously I had my own son, so I've not really had much time. And also with the pandemic and stuff, there's not really been much boxing to talk about. But now it is back. There's a lot of stuff that is not that impressive. So I'm hoping to talk about that tonight.
Fantastic. So congratulations. And hey, congratulations for not just having a YouTube channel, but going that step further and getting into writing and actually getting your publications out there. There's nothing more satisfying than to see your work in mainstream media. And from personal experience as well, with certain interviews I've done, they've gone kind of very far, and like yourself, it's a great feeling. It's something you can't explain. You're writing about something that you love, and you're sharing your experience and how you see things with others. Not everyone can agree with you, but your heart is in the right place in terms of you just want to see the best for the sport and the sport that you love. So congratulations for that, and congratulations on the birth as well. So congratulations for that. Fatherhood upon you. So
6 months now.
So congratulations, and congratulations to the as well. Congratulations to the family. So so we're here to talk about boxing. It'll probably go downhill from here because I would like to say keep it uphill, but shoulder injuries, overweight fighters getting knocked out, inflated fighters with egos not wanting to take fights. Cameron's gone already. Inflated fighters not wanting to take fights. Promoters constantly lying and still lying. Fighters getting found out because they're now having to be forced to fight rather than fight or play fight. Now they really are in fights, and unbeaten records are being wrecked week in, week out. I don't want to use the word frauds are being exposed, but it's kind of looking like that on a weekly basis. It's kind of like fraud watch. You're watching boxing now, and it's like, who next is going to get exposed? This person's getting upset. That person's getting upset. Now, is it bad matchmaking, or is it bad matchmaking in the first place? Now you have to make a good match. You've got such poor fighters in your camp that when you actually do decide to put them against decent opposition, they're falling apart.
Yeah.
So, questions to be asked. So the floor is yours. Take it away, Cameron.
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of the topics over the last sort of week or so, especially with this Usyk Chisora pay-per-view, which I find shambolic. The whole card is bad. Like, obviously, I saw that they put Savannah Marshall and Hannah Rankin on that card. Fair enough, it's a good fight, but I said this on Twitter, and a lot of people were going in on me about it. They were like, "Oh, yeah, they're really good fighters, really good for women's boxing." I was like, "That's great. I'm sure they are. Like, I'm sure they're really good fighters." Savannah Marshall, I've actually seen fight. Hannah Rankin, I've not seen fight yet. And it's just, for me, if you're going to spend money on a pay-per-view, you want to get your money's worth, which is obviously what generates the interest. In my opinion, the cards on that actual bill not pay-per-view worthy. Me personally, I don't think Usyk is always a pay-per-view fight, not a standalone headliner. It would need a solid undercard, and it hasn't got that. And now people think that because Dave Allen's on it, they think it's, you know, because he's a really nice guy, so he deserves the slots. But in my opinion, he could be a nice guy. He's got a good story, but he's not getting the wins to back up a pay-per-view slot. And I don't know how many pay-per-views he's had now. I want to say 5 pay-per-view undercard fights, maybe 4 or 5. And to me, it's a shocker. And I like Dave Allen as a person. I think, you know, he's a nice guy, and he actually wants to be, you know, he wants to fight people, right? And but I don't know what's going on, man. I think that pay-per-view is really bad, and I've had a lot of stick about how negative I've been about it. But I think it's, I don't know what you think, but to me, I just don't think that's worth paying. What was it, £20? I want to say £19.99.
Listen, let me explain something. Listen, if dog shit fought cat shit and you made it pay-per-view, there are people on there that would defend it and say dog shit smells good and cat shit smells good. You have to understand there are people on Twitter specifically there just to start an argument. So if I did a pay-per-view dog shit versus cat shit, I'm guaranteed now somebody's going to like dog shit versus cat shit because they like animals. Somebody's going to protest it because I shouldn't really put in things that are about animals. And the RSPCA said, why don't you clean that shit up, right? So I might get that. So there's always somebody who's going to have a problem with something, right? There is nothing that everyone's in full agreement with, right? If you turn around and say to everybody, Usyk's the best heavyweight in the world, people are going to argue with you. People say he's the best cruiserweight in the world. Yeah, people say, yeah, okay. He's the best cruiserweight in the world. But then somebody will come up with an argument and say, well, he didn't face David Haye back in the day. Or he didn't fight Evander Holyfield. So you're going to get that. You're going to get that. But the Dave Allen story is a good one. I mean, you were around in the day when Dave Allen with me, when Dave Allen had first started out. And if you remember my words, I said to Dave, Dave, watch yourself. They're going to end up using you as a journeyman. Way, way back when you were still an unbeaten fighter. I said, be careful who's whispering in your ears. Take your time. This is when Dave was sparring around the world. I mean, he was sparring. I can't remember. He was in Poland. He was sparring. It might have been what's the Southpaw that Chisorius knocked out. Spilka. He was sparring Spilka. That was in spot. Spilka was still a good heavyweight before he got met with Deontay Wilder. So he was sparring with them guys. Good quality heavyweight sparring. And you think with all that sparring he was getting, all that experience he's getting, you know what? Take your time. Don't rush. You know, and get yourself there gradually. Nope. Well, he's fighting Dillian White, Dane Yoker, and Ortiz. And then people are thinking, well, because you take a good punch, that means that you should be in all these fights. I'm like, no. The best chin in the world is one that doesn't get hit. But so you haven't won a title, and this is the facts. He's not won a title, and he's on pay-per-view. He's not won any title. He's not won Southern Area title. He's not won an Intercontinental title. So what is it? A nice guy? Is this a personality contest, or is this about boxing? And what is? Well, I said that. Yeah, but what is the criteria for pay-per-view? I knew criteria for pay-per-view back in the day when Holyfield fought Tyson. There was some, you know, 2 modern legends maybe. One was 2 former undisputed heavyweight champions of the world, 1 heavyweight champion of the world. You know, they met a collide back in the 90s. Here they are finally getting to fight. That's pay-per-view. I get that. I don't get some of these pay-per-views. But mind you, we got Kell Brook versus Frankie Gavin, so we should really shut up and accept it, shouldn't we? I'd say that was a bad one, but I thought the undercard was all right for that. I think it was like Linares, Mitchell. I think you had Selby Gradovich, Anthony Joshua against Kingpin. So it was a decent card, you know what I'm saying? But I think when you look at the card, I said this on Twitter on, you had 8 years ago, you had Froch Butte on regular Sky. Yeah. And now you've got shambolic fights that are not pay-per-view. I mean, I think White Parker was on pay-per-view. I don't think White Povetkin was a pay-per-view fight. Dylan White's never fought for a world title, so in my opinion, he shouldn't be on a pay-per-view card, or especially headlining one.
I think, someone said to me earlier on, or was it yesterday? I said, now Christian Hammer's pulled out. Who should Dave Allen fight? And I said, well, why not Tom Little or someone like that? Because that would be a decent scrap.
Fight Babbage.
Yeah, Babbage, exactly. Just someone where it would actually be a decent competitive fight. But if you're sticking, Dave Allen just got blitzed by David Price, who got knocked out by Hammer, and now you're putting Allen with him at Hammer. So Christian Hammer's a European level fighter. Dave Allen's not even, was the English level really? I mean, it's hard to say because he never fought.
Well, okay, he beat Nick Webb. Where do you?
And what would you say, Nick Webb's area level?
So where's Cash Ali then?
Again, all these guys are improving. I don't think Cash Ali's fought for a title either, especially not a British level title. I don't think so. Dave Allen needs to fight. I mean, let's be real. Dubois and Joyce are British level, so they're fine for the British. So Dave Allen doesn't beat either of them guys, so he's obviously a bit further down.
British and Commonwealth. You got? Or did he give up his Commonwealth? Joyce.
It's for one of them, but I know one of them's on the line. Is Commonwealth on the line?
I'm not sure. And he's got that WBO global belt, which if you
the Pan Pacific one or whatever it is. They hand out belts everywhere. It's like WBC handing out belts all over the shop.
Yeah, and the franchise belt where even if you get beat, you're still a champion. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, Lomachenko is still a franchise champion after losing. I mean, I think they're putting a title in line for Roy Jones, Mike Tyson. That's true as well. So
yeah, I did say that would happen. That would happen for the. I don't know.
I mean, the winner will probably be put in the top 15 as well.
The winner goes to Anthony Joshua.
It probably will, yeah.
If Anthony Joshua can get back Kubrat Pulev, but that's another conversation altogether. But yeah, let's carry on.
But yeah, I mean, the whole situation with Dave Allen, I remember, I want to say it's like 5 years ago, I was actually on a Skype call with you when you were speaking to Dave Allen on Skype when he was like 5-0, 4-0. Yeah. Like, he wasn't even heard, probably hadn't even heard of him at this point. I don't know what happened with Dave Allen because I think he was young. He's young, isn't he? And he was kind of building up on the small hall shows. I remember him doing interviews with Coogan. No one really heard of him back then. Yeah. And then he got thrown in with White. And I guess the whole thing is because he sells tickets, doesn't he? He does sell tickets, and that's why Hearn keeps sticking him on his cards. But in my opinion, if something happens to Dave Allen, it's on the people around him, and it's down to Eddie Hearn and people in Matchroom. They'll be responsible because they know that Dave Allen's not. They're putting his health on the line. Eddie Hearn knows he's not going to beat Christian Hammer. Eddie Hearn knows he wasn't going to beat White, Ortiz, Price. I mean, and the thing is as well.
Hold
every time.
Hold on. You've got to remember something. Daring to be great. You understand that? Like, you've got no chance. You haven't got a chance in hell of winning the fight. Daring to be great. Just remember that. You're daring to be great. That's what it is.
I mean, in my opinion, it's daring to be put in a coma.
Well, that too. But don't say that because that doesn't sell pay-per-views. That's not mouth-watering, is it?
That's the way I spin it. The thing is, like, Dave, you
can't begin an evening commentary without saying, "Can he do it? Can the man from Doncaster do it? Can he do it? A big night here for Dave Allen."
We saw against Lucas Brown. It only takes one punch.
Only takes one punch from David Allen. Look how he knocked out Lucas Brown. Can he do the same against Christian Hammer tonight? And you're there. You know the script. You know the script. Yeah, well, it's a 50-50 fight, 50-50 fight, Dave Allen can land that punch against Brown, then he's got a chance, isn't he? You've got
exciting times ahead for Dave Allen.
Yeah, Dave Allen's got a great chance. He's got a good chin, got a good engine. Yeah, he can do it. We know how it builds. We know. You're laughing because you know, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that comment.
What's that?
That G Poker, who was that nobody who Allen went life and death with? That was that Argentinian bin man, wasn't it? That he got over that time for Dave Allen.
Wait, don't say that about
that was supposed to be a blowout for him.
Don't say that about Argentinian bin men. They do a damn good job of what they do, emptying bins. Think about it.
They do, yeah, but they shouldn't be in the ring on a Matchroom pay-per-view card. I mean, this is what the others are talking about. I worry for Dave Allen's health at this point. I do. Like, generally being serious, I actually do.
I do as well. But people don't listen to things when they're in the heat of the moment. Usually, when they have to reflect on things, then they kind of get wisdom on it. You know? Oh my God! Could you imagine Povetkin versus Allen?
I don't want to imagine it. I think that's I think I'll turn the TV off and wait for the next fight because I'll be seeing.
Just remember one thing: he's one fight away from Tyson Fury.
Every time. I mean, if he beats, I mean, I can't believe that people were even talking about that. The thing is, there's some people who actually believe that. Like, some people actually believe, go on, Dave. If you get in there, show what you're capable of against Hammer.
Remember, it was Anthony the Bomber Bellew that told us that David Price was ready for the Klitschko's. Remember?
The head to the throne.
He was ready for the Klitschko's. Remember? He was ready for the Klitschko's. You remember he said that? Live on site.
I mean, David. I mean, I remember that. I remember, he said he was the head to the front. That tweet's still up to see from Tony Bellew back in 2012. I mean, Tony Bellew is just. I mean, look what's happened since then. I mean, in my opinion, if you're Dave Allen, I think I can't remember what fight it was. He lost the fight and he said, "I need to, this is my chance now to rebuild." I can't remember who he lost to. It might have been Price or it might have been the one before that. And he said, "I need to start properly." But then he gets thrown in.
We're going to come to Coach Chris in a minute. So Dave Allen, he's going to fight Cash Ali. I understand now.
Yeah, I like that fight.
You like it?
It's a better night than Hammer.
Yeah, but who wins? Now, my boy Josh Sandon was going to fight Cash Ali, and that fight didn't materialize in the end. So
I don't know. I don't know really. I don't really know who I'd pick in that one, to be honest with you. I think Dave Allen's. I think Dave Allen doesn't throw many punches. Like, Dave Allen's work rate is not. Like, he just plods around the ring.
It's a fitness thing. If he was fit, if Dave Allen was himself fit, in shape, listen to his trainer, he could be a half decent heavyweight. He takes a good punch. He throws a good punch. He up his work rate. He could be a good heavyweight.
Yeah.
It just.
I mean, Dave Allen is part of his own downfall because he hasn't taken things serious himself.
Dave Allen is his own worst nightmare. He is. He beats himself all the time. I'm not suggesting he would have beaten Dillian White, but a more fitter, active may have done better. So
especially back then as well, he didn't take as much. He didn't take any damage. He was undefeated. I mean, he's taken a few beatings since then. The Oka one, especially, that was a bad fight.
What about the Ortiz fight?
Yeah, that was bad, especially considering the fact that Ortiz back then was still kind of. He wasn't completely like declining, but he was still there, and he was obviously Dave Allen was just getting beat up, and obviously Dave Allen's got a decent chin, he can take a punch. So Ortiz was just pummeling him. So that was a bad one. I actually watched that fight. I was actually after a few rounds, I was like, I can't actually watch this fight. Like, it's just so one-sided. I mean, anything could happen to Dave Allen that night. To be honest with you, it's one of those fights.
It's one of the fights that did damage, I think. It's not good.
It's one of those fights like that can take years off your career.
That
sort of beating. So I mean, I don't know how many. Dave Allen's talked about retiring before. I think Dave Allen must be still in his late 20s. He's still quite young, right?
20, 29, 30 maybe.
Yeah, so he's not exactly. He's a young heavyweight, but he's probably old in the sense he's taken so many beatings now.
I remember one point in time I was trying to set James Alabashir with Dave Allen. That was when he was still an unbeaten fighter. Do you remember when I was talking to you about that?
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
and Bashir was really interested in him.
I would have been a good pairing because he would have got Dave. He would have kept Dave Allen in shape, and he wouldn't have let Dave Allen stay out of shape. He would have been in the gym with him. And he would have actually learned stuff as well, because if you look at what Dave Allen's doing now, he hasn't learned anything really. He's still the same fighter he was years ago.
But hey, people whispering in his ear, saying, well, screw them, you're on pay-per-view, you're making your money, who do they know? That's what the people that whisper in his ear will tell him. No matter how misguided and mishandled his career has been, don't worry, Dave, you're making the money. Look at your life now. You've got property, you got this, you got that, you're on TV. So that will be the argument. So yeah, what can you say? But you think about David, if David Price was managed properly, he would probably had a better shot of becoming heavyweight champion. If he had done the right thing and got himself into like working in a Klitschko camp, I'd like to have seen him with a Klitschko setting, training, getting his defense together, not listen to all the hype in the UK, gone out, trained out there, and worked his career like how Klitschko worked his career. It'd be interesting to see how David Price, no matter, forget about his chin for a second, how David Price would have done with a better defense, that big right hand, and using the jab and keeping people off. It'd be very interesting to see what David Price would have been like.
Well, that David Price, I actually watched the Thompson fight back about a month or two ago, and I thought to myself, he literally jumped in from what, British level to Tony Thompson. At this point, Tony Thompson was he ranked number 2 behind Klitschko, right?
Do you know how that fight happened? Do you know what that fight happened? Do you remember the backstory?
Nah.
The backstory was I did an interview with Tyson Fury on Skype, and then the next day I did an interview with David Price. No, with David Price's trainer, Franny Smith. And Franny Smith said, Dave Price would walk through Tyson Fury. Obviously, the Fury camp weren't happy. We got back and forth. It got kind of nasty. And it became competitive because Tyson Fury was going to fight Steve Cunningham, right? So that was Tyson step up because they were trying to make Tyson and Price, remember that time? So Tyson went off and went to fight Cunningham. And Frank Maloney went, oh, well, you know, well, if he can do that, trying to jump the queue, then we'll go and fight Tony Thompson. He's ranked 2 in the world. So they were trying to compete with Tyson. But it backfired. It backfired. Of all the people, it wasn't a mandatory. He wasn't. Of all the people you picked to fight David Price, you go and fight Tony Thompson at Southpaw. And I remember breaking David Price down and said, the guy that'll beat David Price would be a Southpaw. And I thought Audley could have done it. I thought Audley could have done it at the time when the fight was announced. But Audley's this went and got knocked out. Who ended up knocking him out? A Southpaw. Tony Thompson.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember that because I can't remember what fight it was, but I think it might have been a Frampton fight. No, I'll tell you what, it was Hatton against Shchenko, right? When Hatton came back, they did an interview of Price before that. And he was talking about fighting the Klitschko's. And when you look back at that now, I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, like how things have changed, you know what I mean? I remember watching that.
It's amazing how
fights. I like David Price as well. Every time he fights, I want to see David Price do well. Because you know he's going to get knocked out.
But you want him to win, though, don't you?
Yeah. Like when he when he landed that left hook on Povetkin, I thought, like he's going to beat.
Yes. That one.
And you see him getting stretched out with an oxygen mask on.
No, you know that was like Harry Carpenter when Bruno hurt Tyson. Get in there, Frank. Yeah. It's that moment they were like, go on. The next minute, Price on canvas like a few minutes later.
Price was unconscious before he hit the canvas. I mean, that was just bad knockout. The oxygen mask was out, everything.
Yeah, and here I am saying I still believe Price can become heavyweight champion of the world, and that happens.
I think he's got the pattern, he can knock out any heavyweight, Price.
He can.
His defense is leaky, and he seems to waste half his gas tank walking to the ring. You know what I mean? Like I don't know whether it's nervous energy or not. You know what I mean? But he just seems to be out of it.
David Price needs a sports psychologist. He needs a sports psychologist.
Yeah, he probably does because there's a mental side of it for Price.
Yeah, Kubrat Pulev used to beat him up regularly in sparring. I remember hearing stories.
Before he lost to Thompson?
No, that was before the Thompson fight. Pulev was beating him up regularly in sparring.
The thing is, if that fight was made, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd rule Price out beating Pulev.
Are you there?
It's a weird one.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think it broke up for a second.
Right. Cool, no worries. Yeah, so Yeah, that's David Price. And I kind of feel sorry for Price. I really do, because I kind of feel this fight has been mismanaged. He didn't have to fight Povetkin. The hammer fight.
Didn't, no.
I understood the hammer fight, but
the Tepper fight as well.
Yeah, but again, I remember talking about Dave Price when he went to Dave Colwell, and I got a stick for it. But this is what's going to happen. I said, Colwell just stick him in 3 fights with people we don't know about, then he'll get knocked out. Wait.
That's what happened, yeah. Well, I remember listening to one of your shows actually when he matched up with Caldwell, and you were just like, "What is he doing?"
What are you doing? I mean, it's not disrespectful to Dave Colwell. It's like, what are you doing, David Price? That's not where you need to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's like me matching David Price with Adam Booth.
It's not a match. Yeah.
It's not a matchup because Booth likes all that movement. Can you imagine David Price trying to do all this stuff like David Hay and George Groves? David Price doing that. It'd be a shocker.
A 6'10" guy doing it.
But under Tommy Brooks, if you'd listened to Tommy, you saw he was starting to block shots nicely and slip and roll. Under Tommy Brooks, he wasn't so stiff or robotic. He started to have a bit of upper body movement. He needed that. But when I interviewed Tommy Brooks said, listen, the guy don't listen. I'd leave him on a heavy bag and say, throw this X amount of punches on the bag. I'll come back to you. And when he came back, Price would be doing something different. He said, I told you throw 1, 2, 3, 4. Price will come back and throw 5, 6, 7, 8. He says, the boy don't listen. So,
yeah, it doesn't surprise me in the Price.
He's had semi-decent paydays for his mismatches. He's been in since post-Thompson. He would have got found out eventually, but the way he gets ice as well got him into more fights. Now, I disagree with you on that. I definitely disagree with that. He would have got found out eventually. Well, yeah, he might have got found out eventually, but there's difference between a good fighter beating you because you have given your best and have just the guy's technically better than you, and then there's the situation where you've been mismanaged and put into fights that you didn't need to be in. You look at Deontay Wilder's career. Deontay Wilder's career, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best managed careers in boxing today. You think about the way he went through, and all he was doing was getting cannon fodder and landing that right hand, learning how to land that right hand. So by the time he got fighting the better fighters in his career, he was able to know how to land that right hand. And that's what Price should have had for his 30 fights. Learn to throw that right hand.
But even when Wilder was champion, like you look from when he beat Stavern for the title, but even then, I think he had like 9 or 10 defenses, but it was against opposition that you knew he wasn't going to beat.
Yeah.
But it was opponents that would test him. I mean, I thought Spilker was beating him until he got knocked out. I think Durpar gave him a bit of trouble. Ortiz obviously did.
Molina.
Molina did. But Wilder's. Molina did rob him, but did not rock him. Yeah. But the thing is, I think you look at what Wilder did. It is a very. If you look at now before the Fury fight, it was a well managed career because he had a 5-year title reign, making quite a bit of money.
That's good boxing management. A lot of people don't really take into consideration the boxing management side of things. They just think about the fights.
I was one of those people who was like, Wilder needs to step up, he needs to do this and that. But when you look back at it in hindsight, you can understand why they made the fights they did for Wilder.
Well, look, made a lot of money. How many defenses? 9, 10 defenses for the title? Well, is what it is.
Cover was like 5, 7, 8, isn't he? I don't know.
No, about 5'4", 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah, I wanted to be generous, I don't know how to talk that. I mean, David Price is big.
I'll make something clear here. I'm not being disrespectful to Dave Colwell, but certain fighters suit certain fighters, and certain fighters just don't. And Dave Price was never a good fit for Dave Colwell. Never. Nobody can convince me differently. From day one, it wasn't a good fit. Big up, lads. Yes, Blue Collar Sports TV. Everyone get across to subscribe to Blue Collar Sports TV.
I think is that Del?
He might be. He might Del Boy, isn't it?
I want to say it's Del.
Yeah,
Del
probably
Boy.
is.
I've been on his channel a few times and it's Del Boy.
I think it's Del Boy. I think it is Del Boy.
Yeah, Del Boy, yeah.
So, all right. So we've talked about Dave Allen and David Price. Let's move our conversation on then. The pains of British boxing.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the Lomachenko thing at the weekend, about this shoulder injury coming out. Yeah, it is. Salute, lads. What's going on, Del? The Lomachenko thing, I don't know. I mean, Dan Raphael posted something up on Twitter tonight saying about it, and Teofimo Lopez replied back saying Loma fanboy, called him a Loma fanboy, which made me laugh a bit. But I mean, there was pictures of him up doing the surgery, but it is a bit reminiscent of the Pacquiao situation, isn't it, with Floyd?
Well, to put it this way,
why come out of it now?
I saw him. Listen, I saw the fight a draw, right? I think Lomachenko may have won one of the first 6 rounds, and he beat that boy up for the last 5. So for me, that's 6 rounds there. That's a draw. Listen, Lopez was getting beaten up and going back to the corner. At one point, he said was doing this every round. This is what's happening. He threw a heavy. This is what's happening with Lopez. I don't know how you can look at that boy and say, yeah, he's the future. His head was getting rocked back and forth, left and right, all over the place. Any direction his head could have got moved in, it got moved in. So for me, yes, he got the win, but I called it a draw, and that's how I feel. I didn't think he destroyed Lomachenko, but then I don't think Lomachenko, he was smart. He tried to be smart for his own good, too smart, because he knew Lopez had the power to knock him out. So he thought, you know what? I engage with this guy early, because if I engage with this guy early, I'm going to be Lomachenko, which means I'll get knocked out. I don't want that happening. So let me play with this boy and move around the ring, and let me go in the second half of the fight to try and take the guy out. And he had Lopez at one point, but little too late. I said, and I will always say about Lopez, if you put it on him, he's one of them guys, if you put it on him, he doesn't quite know what to do. Because if you look at what Lomachenko started doing when he started putting on Lopez, what did Lopez do? He didn't have an answer for it. He didn't, to me, have an answer for it. What are your thoughts?
I agree. And on top of what you said about Lopez, if you put it on him, he doesn't know what to do. If you watch back the Nakatani fight, he struggled in that fight. He didn't have it his own way. Some people thought Lopez lost that fight, the one just before he fought Richard Comey. Right. And that was a close fight. Like, that was a very close fight. So I think Lomachenko left it too little too late. Like, I think for the first 6 rounds, it looked like he had a Joe Gallagher in his corner giving him advice, because it was literally that type of game plan. Just don't do nothing for 6 rounds, hope he wears out, and then take him out. That's what it seemed like to me. It wasn't the same Lomachenko. Like, you see Lomachenko in the past, after 2 or 3 rounds, he gets his rhythm, he starts letting his flurries go, circling. Didn't do that.
But remember, I made some points about this fight. A few things. Point number 1. When was the last time he was in with a young, strong, powerful puncher like Lopez? Name me.
Not as a pro.
Right. 1. 2. How many guys has Lomachenko fought that really wanted to take his head off?
I don't think many of them believed they could win, to be honest. Right.
So that's 2, the mentality. How many 3? How many of them had the sort of punching power at the weight class that Lomachenko was fighting at?
No, Linares, Campbell.
They can make the excuses about the weight, but when Floyd was fighting at different weights, he didn't say, "Oh well, I don't fight this weight," because when he didn't want to fight Golovkin, he said, "Look, that's too high a weight division for me." I mean, he was honest about that, and he didn't go there. Lomachenko's in lightweight, and all you keep hearing is, "Oh, this is not my weight division. People bigger than me and all this stuff," and I'm like, "What? What?" And
after he lost that, he didn't say that after losing to beating Campbell, beating Linares, they weren't too big for him.
No. Yeah, so, remember Lomachenko, it's his footwork. His footwork. He's got the greatest footwork of all time. He's got the best defense of all time. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's Ali, he's Tyson, he's Walcott, he's Joe Louis, he's Henry Armstrong, he's everything.
Roy Jones.
He's Roy Jones. He's everything. He's everything.
Well, Aaron said that.
What has been said? He's the greatest fighter of this era. He's so great. His footwork is so good. He's such a magician. he's made his way to the top of the pound for pound list. And after he got beat, he's like a magician now. He's not even in the pound for pound top 10. That's how great Lomachenko is. He's not even in the top 10 now. After one defeat.
I said that. I said, obviously, he had 3 fights of lightweight. He fought Pedraza, Linares, Campbell. Those 3 fights, you didn't hear him after saying these guys are too big for me. You know, I shouldn't be at this weight class. You didn't see his fans saying he shouldn't be in this weight class. As soon as he gets beat, Loma shouldn't be at this weight class. It's some way of discrediting Lopez. Maybe some of that is true. Lopez is a big guy. He's talking about going to 140 now.
Yeah.
But you can't give that excuse after losing when you've had you've basically held 3 of the belts in the division. You're obviously big enough for the division if you got 3 belts. So as soon as you lose, you can't then use that.
You see Pacquiao. See when Pacquiao saw Errol Spence, he got in the ring and he looked at Errol Spence. He went, yeah, no, I'm not too.
I don't want any of that, mate.
Like, nah, none of that one. Or you remember Cotto with Golovkin? Like, when are you gonna fight Golovkin? They know, and I don't know if it's Lomachenko himself or his PR team, because sometimes fighters that get beat, it's not so much the fighter getting beat, but it's the obnoxious, ignorant fans behind them that you just want to shut up. Do you understand? That happens.
It's the fans that do my head in more than anything else.
It's the fans. It's the fans.
Yeah.
And like, and so now it's Lomachenko. That's it. Remember Papichenko? He was the greatest trainer of all time. He can do this. He can do that. Right. Well, he's just been beat. Now, I said I think the fight was a draw. I think Lomachenko was hard done by personally. But he was the champion.
Scorecards.
Yeah, and I did. Yeah, that scorecard for that lady was she needs to be removed from boxing. Anybody has.
I heard that Terry O'Connor. I heard Terry O'Connor had that fight 120, 108 to Lopez before the fight even started. So, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, Coach Chris here in the chat.
Yeah, what's he doing now?
Let's put saying.
I know you're not gonna make excuses for Loma when he made Rigo come up 2 weight classes to fight him.
Yeah, that fight shouldn't have happened either, in my opinion.
No, I was never a fan of that fight. I was never a fan of that fight, ever. No. There was this point where Lomachenko was making all these people quit. Do you remember?
Yeah, Walters, Rigo.
Walters
bad.
What's that?
Walters and Rigo quit bad. Like Rigo, he didn't land a punch. He said he had a broken hand, didn't he, or something like that?
I always felt something very uncomfortable about those fights. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna touch it. A draw.
You see, Coach Chris.
Yeah.
Coach Chris, I want to have one day. I want to speak to Coach Chris on the stream. He seems like a funny guy, man.
Yeah, I certainly want to try and bring him on the stream because
made a bunch of sham jobs at one point. No, what right?
He never made 125 those fights and setups. That's what I said. I felt very uncomfortable with it. As I said, I didn't want to say that. You said it, Coach Chris.
I'll tell you, Nicholas Walters, if you look back at those 2 fights that he quit, get Coach Chris on, that'd be good. You know, Nicholas Walters and Riggindale, you look back at those 2 fights, before the fights even happened, right? Both of them, when they got the initial offers on Top Rank, said, no, I want more money for this fight. As soon as they got the money that they wanted, all of a sudden, they looked like they're going there for a quick cash or check, that's it. They didn't want to win those fights.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
They didn't want to win those fights. Yeah, they didn't want to win those fights.
But I was going with Lomachenko for the win. I really was. And I'm not a Lomachenko fan.
Yeah.
I said I am.
You're not a Lomachenko fanboy like some people.
No, I'm not. I never have been. And I'm sorry I won't be. Let me see if I can get the inviting. I'm not. Oh, I think we're gonna have Coach Chris in the house. It's all gonna get a bit. Hold tight, people. Hold tight. Yeah, Coach Chris will be in the room in a minute. We're going to be having a three-way tonight.
I was watching a stream the other day, and I liked Coach Chris.
Listen, I'm an old dog now, do you understand? People get fed up of seeing my face. So it's nice to have other people on the show just bringing that energy. You need that energy, man. You do need it. But he'll be in the room in a minute. So is there anything else we want to come? Oh, he's in the room. See? You said it. Be careful what you ask for. I'd love to talk to Coach Chris. There he is. Oh, boy.
What's the deal?
Right.
East Baltimore is in the building.
All good?
East Baltimore is in the building. What's up, baby?
It's good
Thanks
to
for
see you.
having me on, man.
Cameron, meet Coach Chris. Coach Chris meets Cameron.
What's going on, Cameron?
How are you?
So, Lomachenko, the shoulder and the performance.
Hey, I got like an echo. I'm gonna leave and come back in, Ingram.
What's that?
Let me mute. It might be me. Let me mute.
I'll mute me as well.
Yeah, I got like an echo. I'm gonna leave and come back in, Ingram. You know I'm a rookie at this.
Let me mute. It might be me. Let me mute. I'll mute me as well.
Hello. Are we good? All right. Hey, man, you thought that was a draw though? The Loma fight, really?
Yeah, bro.
All right.
Oh, he won one round in the first 6, and then after that, I felt the last 5 he bossed.
I thought Lopez clearly won 1 through 7. I think you want to give him the 7th because he actually threw some punches in that round as opposed to the first 6 where he barely threw any punches. But I think he lost the first 6, 7 rounds. He definitely lost 12 to me. I think he would have got stopped if the ref didn't stop the fight for the headbutt. He definitely lost 12 to me. I think he would have got stopped if the ref didn't stop.
Oh, he's dropped off. You're muted, Ingram, I think.
Yeah, I think he was listening to himself back. So I could hear him listening to himself in the background.
I had Lopez win that fight 7-5, personally.
Did you?
Yeah, 7-5. But I can see why you had it a draw. But I had Lopez 7-5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back and look at the fight again because I was looking at and the thing is, when you're commentating the fight and you're commentating with the idea subconsciously in your mind that you think Lomachenko's going to win the fight, you kind of look at it that way. So yeah, I could definitely go back and look at it again. But I just saw that boy Lopez getting his head rocked all over the place in the last 4 or 5 rounds. So let's go again.
Bad. I was messed up. I still had it open on my window there.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, man, but I mean, I think Lopez kind of gassed. He got kind of tired fighting at that pace because it was a frenetic pace. He was chasing Loma around the ring the entire first half of the fight. But that body attack was vicious. He was just vicious to the body. The first 6 rounds clearly dominated. Round 7, Loma looked better. Not enough for me to give it to him. Loma definitely won 8. He definitely won 9. He definitely won 10. He didn't win 12 and 11. You know, depends on what you like when you watch boxing. You know what I mean? To me, I had a feeling Loma was going to lose his fight. I don't think Loma's really developed the skills in his last fights to take on somebody like Tio, who I've always liked. I've always thought Tio was a top-notch fighter. I don't really think Lomachenko's a lightweight. I think he's a featherweight and a super featherweight. So he's not going to beat any of these top guys at 135. He's just not big enough. His arms are too short. The quickness, the angles, the movements, the matrix stuff. I mean, you got Gervonta Davis and Tio. You got 2 devastating punchers. And if he fights Ryan Garcia's hand speed will flash all over him. I think he needs to drop back down, fight those guys. I'd love to see him give Gary Russell Jr. a rematch, to be fair.
I'd love to see that too.
I'd love to see that rematch because you know, Russell actually put him on the ground, right? So I never really liked Loma. I mean, Loma's a good fighter, but he's just been so overrated over here in this country. It's really hard to appreciate him for what he is because they just put it in your face and it's just like, all right, we get it, you know, but to put somebody with 10 fights on like the top of pound for pound rankings, it just feels crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's how I saw it.
Well, you know what? That ends the Lomachenko experience, the whole Lomachenko plans. I delighted.
Done. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Nobody really cares. Even if Usyk beats Chisora, nobody cares because it's all about Lomachenko. I
think that's a really dangerous fight for Usyk.
So do I.
I think that's a really dangerous fight.
What I've seen on Twitter? Obviously, Usyk's fight, Lomachenko lost to Lopez, and I saw Hearn tweet out saying one Ukrainian lost. Like Usyk's fighting someone on the same level as Lopez. I mean, Usyk's fighting a gatekeeper in Chisora, and I think that's the same as Lomachenko. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good test for Usyk, but there's only going to be one winner in that fight.
I'm looking forward to that fight. You know, I don't know. Usyk has not proven he's a real heavyweight. That fight against Witherspoon didn't let me know he could be a heavyweight by any means.
Can you explain to me, Cameron, in the last, let's say, the last 3 Usyk fights where he's looked devastating?
Witherspoon, no. Gassiev, Bradis. Bradis was a good fight, actually.
I thought Bradis could go on and become champion of the world. I've always thought he could go on and become heavyweight champion. I really do. I rate that boy big time. If I could be a fighter, he'd be the first guy I'd be managing Bradis and say, me and you, we're going to become a heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Well, Bradis knocked out Charles. He's probably holding
a dangerous fight for him. That's a dangerous fight because Del Boy, you know, he's not the best heavyweight. We all know that, but 2 things: he's tough as damn nails, and he comes to fight. He's a goer.
Here we go. Ruben Guerrero.
Does he beat him? I mean, here's the thing: he's gonna have to get on his bike and run around and box. He can't stand toe to toe.
All these people who say that Usyk's gonna do this, that, and the other. Can you show me the fight where he's done that? And people forget. They look at Usyk when he was an amateur. You got to think Usyk's had injuries. And his performances have not got better. He's gone backwards as a fighter. He's not gotten better. He's gone backwards as a fighter. He's fighting with his face more now than he ever did.
If Del Boy comes in shape, we'll see at the weigh-in. I'm gonna wait till the weigh-in before I make my prediction. If Derek Chisora is in shape, that's gonna be a tough fight. He might take a L, because Chisora can bang out guys way bigger than Usyk. Man, that's a tough fight. Gassiev, but you got to think about the size. I see the chat.
How do you compare Gassiev to Chisora? Come on, man.
The size of these guys, man. Chisora's a big dude, man. Like I don't see it.
Gassiev mentally was gone after about 3 rounds in that fight.
Yep, and of course, who was his trainer?
Abel Sanchez. One-dimensional game plan.
One way of fighting.
Abel Sanchez.
And these guys, listen. If your trainer has to sit in a corner and tell you, if you don't throw punches, we're going home. If that's what your trainer has to say to you, right, in the middle of a big fight like that, and your trainer's telling you saying, if you don't throw punches, we're going to go home. That, to me, not only the fighters run out of ideas, but the trainers run out of ideas.
Yeah, Abel Sanchez.
I think he's done that. I think he did that with Ryan Martin against Josh Taylor as well. He said that to him.
He's done that more than one occasion.
Abel Sanchez has more people playing defense with their face than any trainer I've ever seen.
Hold on. I'll add a couple there. Robert Garcia is another one of them as well. and then I'll add Joe Gallagher for people to just put their hands like this and walk forward.
Do you remember when Crawler got his? I mean, fair enough, he won the fight in the end, but they were very lucky. Crawler got his face punched in by Barroso until he won that fight. Absolutely smashed to pieces.
Well, you know what the game
And they
plan
got
is?
lucky that Barroso was out gas.
Tuck up tight. Yeah, tuck up tight and walk forward. That's the game plan, isn't it?
Do
you remember we did? Do you remember that was what happened with Quigley and Frampton? Do you remember, like you said, right? Frampton will tie, let Frampton throw everything at you, the kitchen sink you for the first 6 rounds, and we'll get them late on. What happened? Didn't work.
Hey, who's fighting this weekend? Is there nothing this weekend, right?
I hope not.
Right, yeah, Roman Gonzalez, Francisco Estrada. That.
Yeah, that's on like BT and ESPN, right?
That's on the zone, isn't it?
He's on the.
I call it dead zone, as Brother Aaron calls it. We call it dead zone.
Tell y'all, I mean, this is funny because I'm over here on this side of the pond. I will tell y'all right now, the zone gets 0 play out here in the U.S. When I tell you,
remember, Cameron's man said world domination.
You said what?
Cameron's friend said world domination. He was coming over to take over America.
Nah, not at all.
Cameron's
not at all.
Mate.
Not at all.
He was coming with the British flags to take over America, remember?
Dude, they're fighting in the most obscure places. They're just, it's like they're not even, they don't sell tickets. They don't get people to watch. The fights aren't entertaining. They got some fights to be made that if they made them, I would get the zone and watch the fights.
They made a big announcement, massive announcement. They're going to get their headquarters in. They're going to build headquarters in. What's it? In New Zealand. Wow.
If they would put Canelo and Andrade in the ring, I would get the zone. I'd pay for a year if they get that. I would do it if they put Andrade and Canelo in the ring.
What's he say that?
Whoa.
Andrade and Canelo. If they make that fight, I'd get the zone.
No.
Canelo and Demetrius Andrade, that's a great fight.
Come on, man. The fight they're going to make, I'm telling you now, the fight that's been planned to make is Spence versus Canelo. And I knew that about a month and a half ago when I spoke to...
That won't be on the zone, though. That won't be on the zone.
Canelo's going to leave the zone. He'll come to PBC.
Canelo's going to be gone. That fight will be on pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. Spence versus Canelo.
Yeah, I'll be deciding if I'm either going to, watch it a different way or if I'm actually going to watch it.
Well, yeah. He probably does get smashed to pieces, to be honest.
I know about weight division.
You think Canelo can beat Spence?
Yeah, come on, man.
I think Canelo obliterates Spence. Sorry.
He doesn't beat Charlo, though. He doesn't beat Charlo.
I think Spence is a little too small because Spence is smaller than Jermell Charlo, and Jermell Charlo was smaller than Jamal Charlo. So, and Canelo's probably, he's not as tall as Jamal Charlo, but Canelo's a stocky dude.
Yeah.
Canelo probably comes into the ring at a middleweight fight at 170 something. So
I'll tell you what I'd like to see, right? I'd like to see Jamal Charlo against Andrade and Canelo fight the winner. That's what I'd like to see.
I'll do a better fight. I'll get you a better fight than that. Jamal Charlo versus Danny, glad to be here, Jacobs. Get him out of that.
That's not going to happen. You got to remember, you're always going to have a tough time with the Charlos and Andrade because Andrade pulled out of that Jermell Charlo fight, 5-6 years ago? And they had to find a replacement.
Look, listen, I don't want to hear the name Andrade. He doesn't even want to fight Liam Williams. He doesn't want to fight Liam Williams. He's moving up to super middleweight. Listen to me. If you won't fight Liam Williams and you're moving up to super middleweight, I don't mention Andrade. That's a disgraceful name. That is an offensive name on this channel. That name is an offensive name on this channel, Andrade. And Danny Jacob is a disgrace. Those two guys should never be mentioned in history ever again on BWTM. Ever again, ever.
Not only is Andrade fighting at super middleweight, he's fighting a welterweight at super middleweight.
Yeah, that's the level even ranked. It's a non-title fight. It's like a non-top 15. I don't know what's up with him. I think he's a very skilled fighter.
Bro, you know what's wrong with him? When he came dressing like Prince at that press conference. That was it. I said, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm done with you.
He's just a strange cat from Providence, man. I went to school in Rhode Island, and Providence dudes are wired kind of different. He's a Providence. He's an East Providence cat, and that's just how he rolls, man. But he's a skilled boxer. He's a lefty. He might have trouble with his confidence. I don't know what's the deal with him. He has all these promoter issues. He can't get a fight. He's pulling out of fights. I don't know. I don't know what in the world's happening with this guy's career, but he's about to be irrelevant.
He's one of them guys.
Demetrius Andrade he won a world title against Brian Bloody Rose. Brian Nosebleed Rose back in 2014, right? Since then, his best win is what? Varnes Martirosyan? What's his best win?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. He's literally fought nobody. But he can fight, though. He's a good boxer.
He beat Keith Thurman in the amateurs. You know that, right? He beat
Thurman like 2 or 3 times, I think.
Yeah, Thurman told me. Beat him up. Good.
That's his best win. That's his best career win. An amateur win over Keith Thurman.
You got a point.
So Demetrius Andrade, his name is banned on the channel unless he's connected to Jamal Charlo. Right? Or we can talk about another way we could talk about as well is if Demetrius Andrade even fights. I don't want him to fight. What's his name? Charlo. I don't want that fight for Charlo. No, I don't like that fight for Charlo at all.
They
I don't want that fight at all. Swerve that fight. Swerve it.
Just leave him alone.
You swerve that fight. Fight Danny Jacobs instead.
Glad to be here, Jacobs.
Glad to be here, Jacobs.
He is glad to be there.
Yeah.
He'll be in the ring. Hey, nobody smiles after they take a loss like Danny Jacobs. He takes that unanimous decision loss. He's like, hey, you know what? We tried for 12 rounds and we just lost. They got a check in the back waiting for me. I'll see y'all next time I see y'all. And he exits, he's just out of there, man. Like, I mean, when he was grinning after that damn Canelo loss, that Triple G loss, I'm like, you're not mad about this? Like, just,
And it's now Keith Payday Thurman. That's the name.
My God.
Keith Payday Thurman.
Keith's last knockout was 2015 now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had that shoulder injury. Man, I told you about that. He's had that shoulder injury. He kept it quiet, I think. And he's not been the same since the Diaz fight.
Keith Thurman, you know what? I saw him and he fought that Pacquiao fight. I don't know what cameras y'all had out there across the pond, but he in the back slobbing down his new wife in the locker room before he go out to fight. That man no boxing. He in it for a bag, man.
I remember talking to Keith, and I remember him. We had a private conversation, more or less, and one of the things the last thing he said to me, you know what? I kind of like what you got with you and your missus and stuff, and I really want what you've got. He said, I want to have a good relationship like that. So that's what he said to me, and he went and got this absolutely fine woman.
He got a baddie from India.
And I think she more than one timed him. She more than one timed him.
Oh no, she completely kidnapped him and threw the whammy on that brother. What she did.
I'll tell you something.
Kidnapped one time.
The biggest mistake of Keith Thurman's
career. He's sliding down the wife behind him. My wife was watching that. Was like, she don't need to be back there. Why his mind on that? He back there tongue kissing his wife before the fight. Does he realize Pacquiao was gonna punch him in the face? Like, he's gonna find out real quick. Manny gonna be in there.
The biggest mistake of Keith Thurman's career was buying that bloody flute and flying to wherever it was, and he started playing that flute in the middle of the thing. What's he doing? He should be in the gym training.
Forgot about the flute. He was over there playing pickup soccer in the streets of Bombay. He was chilling, man. Meditating, doing yoga. Didn't even look at a boxing gym. Probably put on 15, 25 pounds.
His wife told him, you know what? You need to go and get another check, boy. You need to go and get another check, boy. Go and get another check, boy.
Now he's calling out Errol Spence looking like a complete schmuck. When you were the unified champ, he could have fought Terrence Crawford. He turned down all those career-defining fights to sit there and be a businessman, and he got a to-do list, and he's not on my to-do list, and blah, blah, blah. And now look at you. See, I love how the boxing guys get you. I love how they get you. I love how they get you.
He wants to fight.
You get paid back.
I saw Keith Thurman did a live stream on whatever his social media was, and he said he might fight Ugas. And I think Ugas beats Thurman. Well, he has a chance of beating Thurman. I think that's a bad fight for Thurman.
Yeah, Thurman is a live dog the first 6 rounds of any fight. I think he has the one nudge. He has that one punch knockout power, even though he hasn't really shown it at 147.
He doesn't. He did. That was a myth. That was years ago. That was like 5 years ago. Yeah, forget that. He's payday Thurman now. You know, like how Pretty Boy turned into
money.
Exact money, Mayweather. Well, one time turned into payday. That's what it is. It's about the payday. That's all.
It's gone from one time to $1.
I miss Boy Floyd. He wanted all the smoke, man.
Pretty Boy Floyd was one of the best fights. I love watching Pretty Boy Floyd, man.
Pretty Boy Floyd wanted all. See, everyone thinks now like, oh yeah, Mayweather the businessman. Like y'all don't remember Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy Floyd was chasing down everybody, fighting 3-4 times a year on HBO.
Yeah.
Like who? Corrales? I want Corrales next. He wanted every fight. He
wanted De La Hoya well before they fought. Mosley.
He chased down De La Hoya. I think he was Shannon Briggs' inspiration with Vladimir Klitschko. I think Briggs got that from Mayweather, man, because Mayweather was like, "I'll take it." De La Hoya goes, "Hey, you take 15%." He's like, "Send that shit, sign it. I'm done. I'm whooping your ass, bro." Like that's.
I'll tell you one thing on the Keith Thurman topic, right? I remember watching, you know, when he beat, it might have been Chavez or Sora Carras, and he did that post-fight press conference where Malignaggi was there, and he's proper going on Malignaggi, right? And he was like, "I want to be undisputed champion." Floyd Mayweather never became undisputed welterweight champion. That's what I want to do. That Keith Thurman's not here anymore. That motivated Thurman's not here anymore.
Oh, duck me, son. Oh, duck me, son.
Yeah, I missed that Thurman. He was one of my favorite fighters back then.
Yeah. He won the fights. He won the fights, but now, I mean, that's the thing about it, man. Like, you know, as you're aging, you got to keep progressing and pushing yourself and training hard at the highest level, man. Other people are going to catch up to you, man. And Spence caught up to him and shot right over past him, man. I'm excited about that Spence Garcia fight, by the way. I'm
worried about that Spence Garcia fight.
You say what, Dingle?
I'm worried about that fight.
You think Garcia got something for him?
I think Daddy's got plenty. I thought Daddy had plenty for him before the accident.
Mm.
Do you know what? I think. Let me ask you a question. A lot of people think that if Garcia goes in there and beats Spence, they'll use that accident as an excuse. I think Garcia is kind of in a lose-lose situation with this, actually. When it comes to, if he wins, great for Garcia, but if he doesn't win, as it was expected, but if he does win, there's going to be that asterisk of what happened with Spence now.
I mean, it was a car accident and it was bad, but I don't think he would get into the ring with somebody like Garcia if he wasn't feeling back to normal, right? Like he'd have every excuse in the world to take on, get somebody to move up from light welter, bring him
Brandon
up,
Reyes or someone like that.
Have a tune-up fight, for him to take on Danny Garcia, he's got to be feeling good. Plus, Danny's feet are kind of plodding. I'm wondering if because Arrow's kind of proved he can box and move a little bit, especially with the way he was able to beat Mikey Garcia. I just
Mikey Garcia fight, big asterisk Mikey Garcia fight.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best win of his career or anything like that.
He had done nothing at welterweight. Absolutely nothing at welterweight.
Oh no, that was just, hey, he's. I tell you what, Garcia, for all of his, he wanted the fight. He wanted the fight. He's got a fan base. He's in the PBC.
He said something. He was saying, "I can see something. I can see something." You know what he can see? Money.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I don't know anybody that really thought he had a chance to win.
Well, if you go by Garcia's reaction, after every round he was doing this.
Yeah. 4 rounds to go down. That's it. We're getting that money. We're getting that
$8-9 million check in the back. He's thinking about that.
After the 11th round, he was looking at Robert Garcia saying, "We're 11-0 down, but we're getting that money."
We're not getting knocked out tonight. Yes.
Yeah. I you know what? That's the one negative I got about Spence. I wanted him to turn the heat up and stop that fight.
He should have stopped Mikey Garcia.
But he didn't. He coasted.
He did. He put his foot down. He was really landing them big body shots.
But he didn't he didn't come with that gear. Like when he fought Lamont Peterson, he beat the absolute brakes.
Hold on. The same Lamont Peterson, and I love Lamont Peterson as a boxer. But come on, Lamont Peterson got knocked out and around by what's my boy? I can't remember his name again. What's that? The guy knocked him out. Was it? Knocked him out clean and around.
Khan beat him, but then they gave it to
no, the guy knocked him out and around. Danny Garcia fought him as well.
Yeah,
who's that?
He was knocking a whole lot of guys out. He popped a pill before he fought.
Yeah.
Who beat him?
The guy knocked Lamont Peterson out and around. Went in there, was knocking everyone out. Stupid. Knocked him out clean in the first round. And I forgot his name again. He fought Danny Garcia.
Matisse.
That's it. That's the boy.
Yeah. This is gonna be a good fight. Danny's left hook is a problem, and he's a southpaw, so that's gonna be interesting to see. It really is. Danny Hook's left hook. Danny Garcia's left hook is one of the best punches in boxing to me.
Dangerous fight.
Yeah. His left hook and Dillian White's left hook, he's got the best little guy left hook, and I'd say that Dillian White has the best big guy left hook, to me, from what I've seen.
What about Andy Ruiz? He might argue with you on that.
You know what? You got a good point there. I just think because Dillian White's his power punch is the left hook. Like he's not really gonna. He'll finish you with the left hook over the straight right, same as Danny. Like
it was Ruiz's left hook that started it for Anthony Joshua. I remind you,
man. Ingram, I could stop Anthony Joshua. I'll tell him that to his face.
That's what Kingpin Johnson said as well.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Anthony Joshua, man. Y'all need to go ahead and get them belts up off of him, bro. He's I don't think he can beat the winner of Gross and Raw, man.
Are either of you two giving Pulev a chance?
Yeah, definitely giving Pulev a chance.
I am.
Listen, you know what? I broke down the Ruiz fight, and I'll break down the Pulev fight. Andy Ruiz was out jabbing Anthony Joshua.
And Pulev's got a good jab.
At 6'1", 275 pounds.
But Pulev's got a good jab. Pulev rocked Klitschko with a jab.
Double jab. I'm telling you that double jab. That double jab. Joshua back.
Pulev is game, man. And AJ's chin is
suspect.
I don't think it's suspect. I think we all know it's glass. You know, like we don't suspect it being glass. It is glass.
I remember watching the Pulev Klitschko fight. And I remember when Pulev rocked Klitschko that jab off for that jab is lethal. Pulev's got a solid jab.
That was
and
so
Joshua's
funny.
susceptible to a jab, mate. He doesn't move his head at all. So
that was so funny. I remember when Klitschko finally got him and stopped him. He was in the corner hitting the ropes like, I'm sick of you young boys fucking with me. Klitschko's in the corner like, God damn it, you guys ain't messing with me. It's like, you don't set your old ass down. Like, you keep on getting popped in the face by these younger dudes, bro. You're going to find out what time it is quickly here, old man. But, yeah, I'm good for that fight. Now, hey, I'm going to go here. We don't have to stay here, but I'm going to go here.
Fury Wilder.
You know I'm going to go there, Ingram. You know I'm going to go there.
You know what? You and Cameron can ding-dong on that one. But I'll just say that Wilder's got a gag order on him because when I talk
where is he?
Yeah, I think he's got a gag order on him because Stacey McKinnon was talking about gag orders in boxing, and you notice he was about to talk about something big in boxing, and suddenly he's gone quiet. Gag order. Suddenly he's got a gag order on him. That's why
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I don't care what anybody says. That second fight with the gloves, that's a problem. That's a problem. You can't just look. We can argue about it and say, why hasn't Wilder said anything and all this and that and the third. But between the three of us here, I mean, I'm going to guess there's probably been something like 5,000 hours of boxing, live big championship level fights watched between the three of us in our lifetimes. Has anybody ever seen gloves look like that in a fight? I've never seen that in my life. I don't ever remember seeing a floppy glove hanging off somebody's hand, and I don't ever remember seeing somebody's fingers in the glove. So
let me just say something about on top of Ingram saying that he's got a gag thing on him. Wilder's not tweeted since the 23rd of August. he's completely gone. And we know how vocal Wild is, so I don't know what's going on there with Wilder.
I think the thing with him is, honestly, and you got to go back to looking what happened right after the fight. So after the fight ends, he goes in the locker room and he says, man, I don't know why my legs were so tired. Even my suit felt heavy. That turned into Wilder said that the suit was heavy. That's why he lost the fight. And you see that that's going to be the immediate, you see the response that came from that. I wouldn't say anything.
Man.
Anything he says is going to be used against him, obviously, because he didn't say that his suit was heavy. That's why he lost the fight, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all, right? And then second of all, him being in the dark has got everybody wondering what's going on. Like, we're talking about the person that runs boxing. The biggest name in boxing right now is Deontay Wilder. With the belt, without the belt, there's a lot of he moves the needle. If he was to speak, it'd be all everyone talks about that week. So you know what? After carrying the heavyweight division, being the person willing to take on every fight, being the person searching and looking for career-defining fights, he got his money. He feels like he got jerked around. We all look at. I mean, we all had months and months with no fights to look at this fight over and over again. And without the pandemic, we probably wouldn't have noticed all of this stuff, right? But you can see it as clear as day. The gloves were tampered with. And, you know, I think it's a problem. I don't think Fury's fighting anybody in December. That doesn't make any sense. Who's going to pay him to fight somebody in December just to fight somebody? Who's paying that? Who's going to pay him $13, $15 million? Because that's what he's on now. You know, he's a fighter in the U.S. He just made, what, 30 – he made that money. He's on that money now, so he's not going to fight anybody in December. He's fighting Wilder in February. That's going to be the plan, and we'll just see what happens. But I think the gloves, that's going to eventually become a problem for Tyson Fury, man. It's obvious. He definitely. I mean, come on, man. We've all watched boxing. We've never seen somebody magically turn into a power puncher before. That doesn't happen. It doesn't. Like, we all know that. Like, being honest, you know. So they're going to fight. They're going to have to hash this out. We need a resolution to this, and then we'll see what happens. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Pulev doesn't beat Joshua when they fight. So there's a lot to happen here, and it's going to be exciting stuff when it finally does, when we get these fights.
Cameron?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I don't want to see a third fight. Simply because I feel I don't want to see a third fight. I think the second one was that conclusive, man. Like, it was a beating, man. To me, that was a career-changing beating. Like the Wilder took. Like Fury for me, it wasn't the fact that the first fight's game plan didn't work. Obviously, I thought Fury won. A lot of people thought Fury won, but it wasn't enough to get a decision. So Fury fought like that because he knew he wasn't getting a decision over there. That's what I feel. But
you're not going to get a decision on the ground twice. How are you going to get a decision on the ground twice? And Fury didn't win. So Fury didn't win every round that he didn't get knocked out in. He didn't throw a hard punch to the 7th round in the first fight.
Let me throw something in at Cameron, right? I know you're an intelligent guy, but check this, yeah? It couldn't stop Pianetta. It couldn't stop Safa Safiri, right?
Also, I said this on the channel the other day. The Pianetta, before Fury fought Pianetta, Kingpin Johnson stopped Pianetta in the fight before Fury fought him.
Right, so you talk to me about this. Where's this great punching power come from? That's the only thing there. 2, historically speaking, history of heavyweight boxing, we know that the Marciano 49-0, never mind what happens in the low weight division, the 49-0 record of Rocky Marciano has been the holy grail of boxing, right? Anybody who's got close to the 49-0 or chasing the 49-0, something always happens in their career. You look at Larry Holmes, it happened. Look at Mike Tyson, it happened. It's wild, it seems to have happened. If Fury decides to go anywhere close to that Marciano record, see what happens to him as well. There's something about that Marciano record. You don't think so? Mike Tyson, he was knocking everybody out. They had to set him up and do what they did with him with Buster Douglas, right? So historically, The 49-0 record of Marciano, anybody who's got close to it, Tyson was close to it, Holmes was close to it. So
they want to keep that record intact. I'm telling you right now.
The history of boxing, of heavyweight boxing, go and look at the champions who've got close to the Marciano record.
So what's your theory on that?
They don't want it beaten.
They don't want it beaten, bro.
But if you look at, even in sports, so you look at the situation with Schumacher and Hamilton, right? What were they trying to do with the guys? They were doing something with his car. Or the car was trying to get into to drive with. They were messing around with that.
Yeah.
And that was only because he was going to equal Schumacher.
Yeah.
He has now, but yeah.
You got to understand, there are powers that be that want things to be the way they want them to be in all sports, man. Football, basketball, baseball. Over here in America, we had this college football player named Tim Tebow, and I swear to God, everybody in the freaking United States was trying to make this kid something he wasn't, a good football player. It was like he had 7 quarterbacks coaches, 5 strength coaches. He got picked in the he never was going to be good in the pros. He was a good college quarterback, that's it. But the powers that be, now he's on ESPN as an analyst, and he's never really accomplished anything outside of college, but they want this dude to be successful.
I want you to know something about boxing and about boxing in America. Not so much here, but in America. And I heard this. I'm not telling you who told me this because I don't want to dub them up. But I heard that behind closed doors, a lot of these top bigwigs in boxing don't care for fighters that are not Caucasian. That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. And that's from bigwigs in boxing. Bigwigs in boxing.
Very true.
And the fight between Fury and Wilder was going to try to draw up to be a race war. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, I think they're trying to create a Rocky story in real life.
Right? So understand this. The powers that be, right? If you were to listen to some of those conversations behind closed doors, you'd be sickened.
Yeah.
Explain to me, Cameron, the top rank situation with Lomachenko and Crawford. How is a guy that's not even American can come to America, be on the same promotional under the same promotional banner, and the guy has had less fights, never been undisputed, and gets promoted more than Terence Crawford? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. And Bud Crawford is legitimately one of the best boxers in the world, man.
And he's been undisputed.
Yeah. Terence Crawford.
I have Crawford as the #1 fighter in the world. I do.
All dog.
Can you explain to me that situation? We've got to check history. Floyd left them, didn't he?
Everybody leaves top rank. You got
De La Hoya, Cotto.
Why?
Because Floyd felt like he was getting held back by top rank, didn't he?
Well, I said this about Crawford. His career will only excel once he leaves top rank. He's got a
PBC now. Crawford should be at.
Cameron, you've been watching me long enough. How long have I been calling for that?
A long time before he moved up to 147.
Right. How long did I call for Tyson Fury to drop all them damn belts and just fight?
The day after he beat Klitschko.
What?
I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is just my opinion. You know, we talked about this last time, Ingram.
Yeah.
I don't think Fury's the best boxer from England right now. You know who I think it is, right, Ingram? We were just agreeing about this last time I was on.
Listen, I told you about the Daniel Dubois story.
I like it.
You, like Uncle Bashir, have to feel. You, like Uncle Bashir. I told Uncle Bashir, I'm going to make you. You were watching that fight live, by the way, and you're going to cry. I'm going to take
yeah, we're watching it live. Yeah.
Cameron wants that heat as well, and he wants to back Dubois. You can get it, Cameron. You can get it, and Bashir can get it as well. All in the same night. Watch you all cry on the same night. This boy Dubois has done nothing. Nothing.
Hey, Ingram, if I'm wrong, I will take the crow, knife and fork, brother.
Bro, get the fight ready. Get the
I think Dubois is mustard. I like Daniel Dubois. I think he's the best fighter in England right now.
Nothing.
The best boxer.
He's a guy called Fujimoto, and he gets ranked to the top 2 in the WBO. Come on, Fujimoto.
Him and Josh Taylor are my 2 favorite out the UK right now.
Josh Taylor is legit. Dubois is not legit.
I'm sadly picking Joyce to win that fight anyway.
Man's talking sense. Man's talking sense.
But I thought the Dubois I saw against Kingpin Johnson, I wasn't impressed with it. I thought he was quite basic. I thought defensively he's quite flawed. Joyce just keeps coming as well. We haven't seen Dubois put on the back foot. That's what I'm worried about. So that's what I'm a bit worried about.
He jokes as an amateur. Worry about the fact that when they last sparred, Joyce bullied him. Worry about the fact Sorenko sparred both of them recently, and he said that Dubois is pretty basic.
Well, what can Dubois offer on the back foot when he gets pushed on the back foot? What can Dubois offer on the back foot? That's what I want to know. I think there's too many unanswered questions about Dubois because every fight he's had, Gorman, Larty, Johnson, they've just been punch bags for him.
How many former world champions has Dubois fought?
None. He's not even fought a former European champion.
Right now, I don't know if he's got the athletic tools to beat Daniel Dubois. Boxing wise, I'm saying Joyce is slow as hell.
Do you know I'm going to call you after this fight, right? I will be able to crown you highlight king.
All right, okay. I'll take that. I'll eat that.
Highlight king.
I got that much faith in your guy over there. I'm gonna tell you right now. I like Daniel Dubois a lot. I think he's a good fighter, man.
Close train. I watch him up close train. He is Frank Bruno Mark II or 3. If you want to say Anthony Joshua, he's Frank Bruno Mark 3.
He says part 3.
He's Mark 3. Well, no, he could be Anthony Joshua Mark 2. Hey, Cameron. Anthony Joshua Mark 2, Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, but I don't think Dubois might not get to that level that Joshua is at. So
yeah, so I've got Anthony Joshua Mark.
I'm very anxious to see that fight. I'm actually, you know what? That is one thing that's happened with this pandemic. We're getting some fights that we wanted to see, you know. And I think this fight right here, this past weekend, Tio and Lopez, that was just the start of it. We're gonna get Taylor and Ramirez, right? Is that been scheduled?
Next year, I think.
So we're starting to get some fights that we want to see here. You know, we're getting Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. Hopefully we get Teofimo versus Devin Haney. That would be a great fight. You don't see it.
Don't think that happens.
I'm holding out hope.
At 140, I think it happens. 140 down the line, I reckon.
But I mean, like, he's right there with greatness, though. Take the chance. Take the chance. I mean, I think between him and Haney can fight 2 or 3 times, moving up.
I think they should fight now because later on down the line, they can fight again. They're still what? 23,
like, you got the 21. Chance to be the undisputed lightweight champion, man. That's probably rare.
The best Instagram fighter in the world fighting now against Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell.
I thought Luke Campbell, you could have. That was a tough fight when he gave Loma, man.
If he wasn't busy signing autographs, he must stop Loma. But he was signing autographs. He wanted Loma to get an autograph for Loma. Can you sign it, please? Can you sign it, please?
Hey, man, you guys are great. Hey, man, Ingram, cameraman was great meeting you and chopping it up with you, champ. I got to jump. I got a training group in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to jump. I got to I got the kid in the 8th grade. He just ran a 4.4240 last night.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's
question: how are you with diets?
Man, I do nutrition. I'm down 8 myself the past 2 weeks.
So you can do nutrition?
Yeah. You need some help with it?
I personally don't, but I will know somebody who does, or know somebody who will.
Yeah, link me with him and I'll help him out.
Good. We'll talk. We'll get you paid, bro. We'll get you paid.
You know, that always sounds good to a brother like me.
Bro, we get you paid. Listen.
Hey, man. Y'all take care. Have a great one, man. I'm gonna catch y'all again. Thanks for having me, Ingram.
Take care. See you soon.
Later, brother.
Take care.
Yeah, Ingram, I think I've only just realised that I actually thought you was that background. I thought you was actually at a gym. I thought you actually was at a gym. I just realised you're not actually at the gym.
Yeah, bad. But it's good though, isn't it?
How do you do that? Is it part of the StreamYard background?
Green screen, bro. Screen. And then I pick my gym.
That's good. You should put what was it, Joe Gallagher's gym or something? Gallagher's gym.
Gotta love Joe. Listen, I had this thought that went through my mind. I took what the thought is. So watching Matchroom the other day, boxing. I try not to watch it too much, but when I do watch it, the thought went through my mind. You know what? They could do a video game. They can make a video game out of this. If you think Eddie Hearn's got hands on all those fighters, he can easily do a video game. And if you look at the background, when the fighters are about to fight in the red corner, he starts making those. That's wait, that sounds like something like one of those 1980 games. I thought, the way this is set up, they could definitely make a boxing game out of this.
I'd buy that game if they did, before the fights, they did like a little cameo of a fake audience singing Sweet Caroline. Then I'd buy the game. Then I'd buy it for Red Tension.
I have every fight being 50-50, right? You got 50-50. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, got to give a shout out to my man, Ryland Charlton. I've got to give a big shout out to him. I've got a lot of love for that brother for many reasons. And did you see the fight against him and Joe Laws?
I did see a fight, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was happy to see Joe Laws lose. That's all I'll say.
That was it.
Not happy. I'm not the biggest Joe Laws fan. I'm just not. I think on Twitter he can be a bit of an idiot. So I was happy he lost, and I was also happy to see someone else get their name on a Matchroom card and get a name out there of a big win. So
I like the fact that he was a small hall fighter and nobody gave him a chance. He went in there and he did a number, and the way he did the number as well, it was nice. That's nice.
My favorite. That's what I like to see. I like an underdog story, and sometimes I do like an underdog story where no one really knows who the guy is as well, and they come in and do a number on a guy that people were he's been promoted, really, Joe Laws. So for someone else to come and do a job on something like that, I always like seeing that.
And what was your reaction when you saw him go down?
I was calmly doing a bit of that. I was streaming it. Sorry, Eddie Hearn. I was streaming the card. I stream.
You're not mates no more.
I stream regular Sky shows. Also, the disclaimer. That's me personally. That's nothing to do with BWTM Sports. That's me. I personally stream. Yeah. I'll be streaming the pay-per-view as well. I just got a decent sort of look on my laptop. I just sit here watching Joe Laws get smashed to pieces. It's just a good night. So it's always a good night when
you'll get no more quarters ready now. That's it. You're done. No more free tickets for shows. Forget it. It's done. It's over.
That's the one thing I've never done right. Even though I write and stuff, I've always tried to speak the truth. I don't like these writers that kiss ass and they'll do anything like. I don't like those writers. I know it's part of your job. You get your free, press pass. But if you're going to do an interview, like say for example, you're doing an interview with Dave Allen, really happy for you, Dave, getting his interview. Then you go to your mate beyond and say, Dave Allen gets smashed to pieces. I don't like that sort of people. So
there's a lot of that in boxing. Oh, yeah. While I'm at it, I've got to do a special piece here for Michelle Joy Phelps. I've known Michelle Joy Phelps before she got into boxing. So when I saw her, I reminded her because she forgot who I was. And it can happen. And I said to her, I remember her when she was just still doing doing lots of modeling, swimwear and stuff like that. That's how I first started talking to her. I said, you know what? She was saying, I'm thinking about giving it a crack and getting into boxing. I said, you know what? You should try. You should go. Give it your best shot. You're a good looking girl. And not only that, you're articulate. You can speak. Have a go. I'm sure you'll do well with it. And she's done really well for herself. But I'm not. And I will say this, that there are a lot of idiots online, a lot of idiots, a lot of jealous people, a lot of scumbags. And
Yeah.
it's just a shame. Someone like Michelle Joy Phelps, who's done hundreds and thousands of interviews talking and getting exclusives and stuff. Listen, I just think that she deserves a lot more respect than a lot of people give her. And it's not right. It's not fair. It's disgusting, in fact, because I know how disgusting some of the people can be. I've had to deal with it myself.
Didn't someone say something to her on Twitter today? I saw someone retweet something. Michelle Joy Phelps. She put something out about something. I didn't see it, but
yeah, she was upset. She was saying how people have written some disgusting things about her and things, but that's what the block button's there for. And you know, I would advise Michelle, if you're listening, you're watching. My advice to you is that you have a team around you. You're not by yourself. I would advise strongly that you have somebody else look after your YouTube channel in terms of the comment section, and let somebody, if it's male, or let somebody else who's got thick skin, and just pay them just to delete the crap, right? And just rubbish needs to end up in the bin. That's it. And you know, spend the time appreciating the love that you do get. Focus on the people that do good for you and entertain and love the work that you do. Focus your energy on that, and not focus on that, because when you give these people time, and you give them energy, if they dislike a video or they don't like what you say, hate it, screw them, because half of them haven't got the ability to do what you're doing. So my advice to you is to stick with those people who love what you do. Screw those people who don't. Use the social distancing. Social distance from these people, all right? Social distance from them. Make this be the time where you make a break and do for you. Do what makes you happy. That's what I would say to you, and screw the rest of them. People like me, people don't like me, I don't care. The fact of the matter is there are people that do like me. I focus on them. People that don't like me, that's up to them. You understand? So I do what I do, and I just keep going. And you know, I've got more that like me that don't like me, but it is what it is. You just got to be focused, stick to what you do, and focus on. You got a choice, Michelle. You're either going to be an entertainer. What's the entertainer, an artist, and entertainer? Different than entertainer and artist. I think it was. The entertainer is there to entertain others. An artist is it doesn't care what other people think. They just express how they feel. So if you're being an entertainer and you're going to try and entertain people in your show, then fine, you're going to get that stuff. But if you're an artist, you really don't care about what people think. It's about what you do. It's your expression and your love of what you do. So my advice to you is, if you're going to be an artist, I would just suggest you do be an artist in terms of how you think about YouTube. Just put it out there and do what you're doing and keep going. Because when you cry on and people see you on camera crying, they got you. And nobody deserves to have that sort of power in your life. Nobody. You know,
on top of that, I've had my fair share of people trolling me before, like on Twitter. Like Twitter, I used to get it a lot. And the problem that I had is, and what I realized at the time is, the more attention I paid towards it, where I actually took a bite at them and they got a reaction, I thought it's just going to keep coming. So then at that point, I think it was like 3 or 4 months. I came on Twitter, spent time with my son and stuff. Then I came back on and I thought, you know what? Twitter's what are people worth on Twitter I've never met, I'm never going to meet? Why do I need to take them seriously? So I think when you're, especially in boxing, you're a writer or you're putting yourself out there to people where you need people to look at your stuff, you're going to get criticism. And I think at this point, it gets to a point where you just think, who are these people? Yeah, you're criticizing my work. Show me one of your interviews, and then we can kind of, you can criticize me when you show me something you're good at. If not, shut up. Do one.
Of course, I've had people say to me, you've already got X amount of views on your show, or you've got X amount of million watching you.
Where's your channel? Where's your channel?
Great. I'm fine. I said, well, you don't get many views on your channel. I said, listen, well, I know that my stuff has been in every single newspaper in this country, right? And it's been gone worldwide. Why do I have to prove anything to anybody else? Jimmy, I'm not sponsored, and I'm an independent. I didn't come from media school in that sense. Do you understand? So I'm quite happy where I'm at, and I'm quite happy that we're expanding and we're doing good things, and we've moved on and done other things as well. So I don't take it on. I really don't take it on. If you like the video, great. If you dislike the video, great. It's not about that. You understand? And I just hope Michelle Joy Phelps can use this as a learning experience and can grow from it and actually push on from it. Listen, hey, remember me and Gospic? Remember that? Jacob Gospic, remember all that? Yeah. And Eddie enjoyed that, did he? Eddie loved that. Oh, yeah, you're a poor man's version of Coogan. That's remember he did that. So okay.
I'll say one thing about that. I think 99% of other media outlets would have just jacked it in after that. Wouldn't have shown their face again. You stuck at it. People forgot about it after a while. They move on to something else. That's what you realise. They move on to something else. So I
got that abuse I got on Twitter for it. I got abuse after abuse. And I've thought myself, hold on a second. If all these people are abusing me, that means they must have been watching. Not bad. And what was the answer to that? To be seen in every single newspaper around the world in the UK. That was beautiful. In the Sun, in the Telegraph. I mean, beautiful. Beautiful.
You did, obviously not naming names and stuff, but yeah, just a one-word answer. Did you actually find out who was behind that?
Yes, I did. It was from very high up.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just a random on Twitter trying their luck.
It was people. It was people that control other people's Twitter accounts.
Right.
And it wasn't just one. It was a group of them that decided to come in. So I found out who they were and who they were inspired by. I tell you what. Do you know who else knew about it? There were people within the mainstream media. I'm talking about working for the Telegraph, working for like the Daily Mail, who knew what it was about.
I think you know, like, I mean, let's be real. It's quite obvious by some of the stuff that you've put out. I mean, that people hire promoters. They obviously watch your work. They keep an eye on your work, and if they see something they don't like, they'll try and jeopardize it. That's all you can say. That's all I'll say about it.
So you know. That's all right. It's cool because guess what? What they did gave me more strength to do even more. But the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. 2020 has been a good year, Cameron. It's been a good year.
It has been a good year, to be fair. Like, so for me as well, it's been good. Obviously, worldwide, you've got to feel for the people who haven't had such a good year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, thoughts with people who have just lost relatives to this pandemic. It's just horrible. Yeah. So,
and I just want to make a very special point also about what's going on in Nigeria at the moment. SARS. I literally got a text message. I'm not Nigerian myself. I'm from the Caribbean, but still, I got a text message about 30 seconds ago from somebody who texted me and said they're shooting in my area, literally as they speak. Just text me. I'm like, wow, that's just.
Do you know what? I saw a picture on Twitter circulating yesterday, and it was a picture of people, and they said, "Can you confirm what these people's sexual orientation is by his picture?" And it was a picture of people lying in the sea who have obviously been killed by people over in Nigeria, and it was one of the most sickening pictures I've ever seen. I couldn't even look at it again. I mean, it's just horrible. I read about that 4 or 5 times a day, look at updates and stuff, and it's just bad. Yeah, we've got it lucky. Like when I read stuff like that, I think to myself, my life is very, very lucky. I should be very grateful for it.
Because look, they are shooting in my area, and the area they live in is in Lagos. It's in Jesus Street. I'm so scared.
Yeah. It's just a bad situation. Like 2020 is just. What can you say about 2020, man? Michelle put up an interview with Cole where he's talking about the trolls. I'll have to go watch that.
Yeah, well, see, the YouTube community is a funny one. It's a funny one. They'll sit back and watch you get attacked. They'll sit back and watch you get run through by trolls, right? And the way it happens to them, they can feel that they are infallible. It can't happen to them. When it happens to them, we've got to start paying attention to it. It happens all the time, every day. You understand? And I've been around, 2019, 11 years. You got to have thick skin. I'll tell you something. There are a lot of people I know have not made the race. Mental health issues a lot. And this is dangerous for their mind. I'm telling you, you put a video up, and if you're one of those people who are waiting to get appreciated for uploading a video, I should talk about it at length. You upload a video and then you get 5 dislikes. I mean, that can be very disheartening.
It's certain people who do that. Every video, it's the same people that do it. Make fake accounts. One person making 5 accounts. It's always the same people who have got an agenda against you.
It's all right, but you know what? But then the same people that tune and watch the video.
I mean, it's a click at the end of the day. They've got to click the video to like the video. Just like the video, so.
See what's in here. Your interviews compared to well, okay, it's choice, isn't it? Let's see what people are saying here. With Lagos being put back into lockdown, it's affecting both Nigerians, both in and out of the country. Yes, I'm so sorry to hear what's going on. Hello, Bilal. Good evening. Hope that you're well, and I look forward so much to meeting and working with you shortly. It's a really difficult situation out there in Lagos. It really is, and across Nigeria. I just pray for those people out there. All right, so topics. Let's continue. So I said the matchroom boxing game. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen a few floating about. There was one. I remember, like, there was one where you were talking about boxing games. There was one that you were associated with. Not too sure what happened with that. But then there's another. Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened with that. Did it fizzle out?
No, they've still got guys coming. They've signed Michael, the guy that beat Jeff Horn. They signed him.
Michael Zarafa.
Michael Zarafa. They signed him.
And there's a new one in there that seems to be doing quite well on Twitter. They've signed all the matchroom guys. What's it called?
Esports, is it?
In sports, yeah, that seems they put a trade. That looks all right.
I've heard
but that. Again, I think we need like an EA level game, don't we? But I think
they have an EA. See, the thing with a lot of people that understand with UFC, they've got all the fighters under control
in one band. Yeah.
Yeah. With boxing, you now have to go to the managers and the promoters, and there's a lot of people in boxing who don't understand business. So
and also the governing bodies.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, I heard a story that the WBC have signed on to a boxing game. So that's what I heard.
There needs to be one. Let's be real. There needs to be a boxing game. And I think the last one was. Don't tell me it was David Hayes Fight Night Champion one.
No, UFC's now got Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in it.
Anthony Joshua is in FIFA.
No. Well,
what's with that?
We can get him now while he's world champion because they ain't gonna last much longer. So
Anthony Joshua, I'm just waiting for Anthony Joshua to be the next Spyro or something. You know what I mean?
Good, dude. It's all good, isn't it? It's all good. It's all good. The crossovers. So they both crossed over.
Yeah, 2011. Was that the Don King game? I've been Hearn or the King game.
I love the Don King game. I still love that game. Nigel Ben's in there. Eubanks in there. I think that's the one.
Well, I've still got the PlayStation 2 up in the attic here, and I've got
my PlayStation 2.
Fight Night 2, Fight Night 3.
Did you see the games the boxing games I previewed on the channel?
No, when was that? I have to go check it out. I ain't checked them
out. I previewed a whole load of boxing games. I had George.
Was this how long ago? Was this weeks or months ago? So I can go back.
It was about 6 months ago. George Foreman's boxing. Kings of the Ring. I had Ali, Fraser.
Kings of the Ring's a good game.
Yeah, Kings of the Ring. I had George Foreman's Punch Out. Evander Holyfield's boxing. Julio Cesar Chavez boxing. What else did I have? And I've got a game now on my PC. I play a boxing game on PC. It's all right. It's okay. And I've got a boxing management game as well.
Yeah, I've got one of them on my phone. I just play on it now and then.
Yeah. So, yeah, we definitely do need a boxing game. We certainly do need a boxing game. Soon.
Did you say are you still doing a PES stream this evening?
Yeah, I'm going to do PS. I definitely
I'll jump on that. I'll jump on chat.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I don't share them out much, but what do you think of the old PSE 2021 sort of thing?
I like it. I'll tell you what. When you were doing the FIFA ones, I got into that. When the FIFA manager, where you're doing like Arsenal and stuff like that, and
you like them.
That was my favourite streams, the FIFA ones with the career where you were managing the teams. I was like glued to them for hours every night. It got on my missus' nerves because I just lay in bed listening to it and she'd be trying to sleep and she could hear your voice every night. So like she'd come in and say that as well. But
how embarrassing. But yeah, well, I need to I'm probably gonna go and download FIFA 21 tonight. I think I'll probably get that downloaded and get into it. I just want to win my championship on Arsenal, and I'm I've got a couple of people out there that always like to say sack Jones, so I've got to go out there.
Who's the one who says that? Who used to come in now and then when you'd lose a game, he would always pop in. Who was it?
Well, there's a couple of them that come in and just say, "Oh yeah, you've lost, sack Jones." I
can't remember who it was, but every time like you'd lose a game, you wouldn't hear from him as long as you win. But as soon as you lose, you were like, "Oh, Ingram's crumbling here." Oh, who was the guy?
I can't remember his name is, but it's Kenny as well. There's Kenny.
I like Kenny. Isn't Ruben Guerrero in the chat as well? The gaming.
Yeah, Ruben Guerrero's around as well. He floats about every so often. Ruben Guerrero's a character. We still haven't, up to these years, we still haven't worked him out quite yet. Whether it's really him or he's someone else. Or someone else.
I'll be honest with you. I might be wrong, Ruben Guerrero, but of my own sort of instinct, I don't think that's your real name. That's certainly not you in your picture either, Ruben Guerrero.
Well, you call him a super troll because you get rid of him and he just comes back again. It's like he goes away and he comes back again, reinvents himself.
It's like Tony Bellew. He says he's going to disappear, but he's always in the eye sight. Tony Bellew, I just want to, make money, retire, and disappear. He's on bloody what's it? Celebrity Rock the Boat thing. He's on Catchphrase. He's on everything. Like he was on Catch. I was watching Catchphrase 3 months ago, and fucking Tony Bellew was there.
What's he doing? What's he doing in Catchphrase?
He was playing Catchphrase. He was on the Catchphrase.
Can you believe that I had Tony Bellew on BWTM Sports and I did an interview in his front room with him?
Yeah, I remember that. And he just had the camera right up to him like I do, didn't he?
Wow!
Do you know what? Bellew makes me laugh because he I don't know whether he does it on purpose, but on Twitter he is an idiot. He is an idiot. Have you seen that picture of him where he's holding the WBC belt and you've got the flag behind him about Kenny Dalglish?
Yeah.
He said that he didn't realise that flag was behind him. And then people were saying, well, you would have had to walk up to that spot. So what'd you do? Did you walking backwards to it? I mean, Bellew is an actual... And do you remember when he started calling... Do you remember when he fought David Hay? When he fought David Hay and Michael Butler started introducing him as Anthony Bellew.
That was David Hay, the worst. That is probably the worst career move of David Hay's career. Why he went and fought Tony Bellew when we were looking forward to him to fight Anthony Joshua? Why he fought Tony Bellew? Why? Why? What for?
Well, do you know what? I remember when Hay beat. I watched an interview when he beat. Oh Jesus, what was his name?
Mark Demore.
Yeah, and I remember he used to say he got knocked out around by someone called the Digger, didn't he? Mark Demore. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And Hay destroyed him. He was like, "I'm gonna take over the heavyweight division, win all the belts." And he beat and Mark Demore turned up, and he was like they pulled him out of a London nightclub in between a break on a shift. He had the same look, didn't he? Do you remember when he did the whole face-off thing, Hay and Demore, where they sat around the table?
Yeah.
Just, I remember you. I think you'd done a live stream after that show, and you had like 20,000 people on that show, and they were just saying, "Hey." Remember that? I remember that stream, man. All the casuals came in and said, "Oh, David Hay's gonna knock out Joshua Fury." Those were good days. They were.
Deep breath, bro. Some right ones. There'll be some.
That was one of my favourite streams. That was the one you did after Hay Demore, because I remember I came on. I was just sat there, and the people were coming in the comments, and I was like, I think it was like 1,000 people live, and in the end, there was like 20,000 people after the show ended. I mean, it was a good stream.
What about? Do you remember the Joshua stream for the first Ruiz fight? Did you hear the commentary on that?
Yeah, I was listening to the commentary on that. That was a good one. John makes laugh about your streams, right? When you put live commentary, and you put no audio, no video, and
Joe, do the video, please, mate.
And someone goes, why are you not putting a video up, you idiot? Why'd you click it? Have you got a link to the video? Link to the film? Not really. As soon as you drop the link, you're going to get your video taken down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do they do that? I mean, it's like, I don't know. There was another one of your shows that I really liked as well. I can't remember what it was now. I just had it in my head, but it was a good one.
There's been quite a few that you've done that have been funny.
The
one where,
you
know, the one when you did with Ascar. Do love Ascar. I hope he's back on the channel soon. You do on Ascar, and the whole chat was just going in on him, and he was saying, "Oh, your mum this, your mum that."
Yeah, but he was giving out as well. He was giving out as well.
But he goes, "Oh, Ascar, you're a fat." He goes, "Ascar, you obviously got a Fury tattoo on your bum or something." And Ascar goes, "Well, ask your mum because she was in my bed last night." That's what I love about Ascar, you know.
Got to bring him back. Definitely got to bring him back. Yeah, I'm gonna. He's probably watching somewhere, and I'd be interested to see what his thoughts are on.
He does the whole, like, he's very loyal to the Furies, and I respect that, right? But his fanboyism opinions, they're just insane.
Well, you need that though, and it was like, you know, I wonder if he's still getting on the roof about Huey Fury.
I remember I was on a live stream with him on one of your shows. I think it was before. I don't know when it was. I think we just did a live stream. Ascar was on the show, and he said that Huey Fury is going to dominate the division as well, just like Tyson. And I thought, obviously in hindsight, that's not going to happen now. But I, at that point, I think even though you were quite a big Fury fan, I think even you were skeptical about being high on Fury at first.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a question mark about whether he might like fighting, but I don't know. But you know, like, he gets started, yeah, I like this, and then he's like, after 3 rounds, he wakes up and goes, I don't really want to be here. I just need to get to the 12 rounds, and then we'll see the next fight. I always feel that of him. I never feel that he's really passionate about boxing.
Yeah,
I feel like it's something he does, but I don't know. It's hard. It's like, you know, it's the same things he says all the time. That's not being disrespectful. There's guys who just like to have a fight, and he seems a guy that seems to want to have a fight. But it's that, I don't know.
Did you think he beat Parker that night?
Yeah, I thought he beat Parker.
I thought he beat Parker as well.
But I told Parker to his face, I said, the only belt I thought you won that night, told him to his face in the interview, I looked at him, I said, see this belt here? That's the only belt I thought you won on the night.
I remember you did that. I remember you sat down with Parker, didn't you, and spoke to him. I remember that.
I said, yeah, the only belt you won was this one here. I didn't think you won it all. And I like Parker. I really like Parker. He's a good. And he's a guy I think that could dominate the heavyweight division with a good trainer.
But Ruben Guerrero's put a good comment in the chat. He says Parker doesn't have that extra gear, and he doesn't. Parker seems to fight in first gear, and you know, sort of.
That's because of his trainer.
Yeah, he does need to go to a new trainer.
See, I see a few guys that need new trainers, right? Parker's one of them guys that needs a new trainer. Usyk needs a new trainer because he's not improving. What has Usyk done to improve? How has he improved as a fighter? Because some explain to me how he's improved as a fighter. 3 fights.
Well, since he left Bashir, I don't think he has.
Well, there we go. So he needs a new trainer. I think Parker, if he had a new trainer, a good trainer, I like to see Parker work with someone like. I actually like to see Parker work with Bashir. I'd like to see him work with maybe Ronnie Shields.
I like Ronnie Shields. I think Ronnie Shields is a good trainer.
I wouldn't mind seeing him with Bashir, actually, because he's got all the attributes there, and Bashir can teach him things. Because if you look what Bashir's done with Serenko, you know, so I think he can do some things. Go ahead.
Serenko's getting up there now, and he's getting up those levels.
He's moved up there, and then he had that fight without Bashir. You saw what happened.
Yeah. Well, what fight was it that Usyk had? Obviously, I think Bashir's last fight with Usyk was when he won the world title, right? Glowacki, or was he with Hunter?
What's his name? Inchuno, or what's his name is?
Oh, Machuno or something it was.
Yeah. And after that fight, that's when Bashir left, or they got rid of Bashir.
Yeah, they got rid of it. Usyk didn't get rid of Bashir. Usyk didn't get rid of Bashir. Aegis Klimas got rid of it, I'll say. Aegis Klimas was the man behind it.
Aegis Klimas. We all know the Aegis Klimas. So I was kind of glad what happened with Lomachenko happened. I was like a kind of, you know, and if Usyk were to get beat as well, that's the end of that.
Well, Aegis Klimas had Kovalev when he was champion. He obviously had Lomachenko who's got beat. If Usyk gets beat, that's his last hurrah, really, Usyk.
And they built a gym. They built a gym. I remember them building a gym. I think it was Robert Garcia's old gym. They took over.
Yeah.
And they built a gym to build a whole Ukrainian takeover bid.
Well, Gvozdyk got beat as well by Beterbiev. And obviously, I want to say they had Derevinchenko as well. Maybe I'm wrong. But they had those guys.
I told everyone Derevinchenko was going to get beat by Charlo. I told them that.
Joe, I think, I thought Derevinchenko, a lot of people bought the hype because obviously he got very close to beating Golovkin. Very close.
I thought he beat Golovkin and Jacobs.
Yeah, and people started, saying, that. In my opinion, I thought if Charlo beats Derevinchenko, I'm not going to criticize Charlo anymore because I
said that this is a step to the side against Derevinchenko. It's not a step up. It's a step to the side.
Charlo.
Yeah, for Charlo, it's a step to the side because Derevinchenko's a step up.
Derevinchenko's like that level below the level that Charlo needs to be facing.
Yeah, but see, people were saying it was his biggest fight, his toughest test. I didn't think that.
Who's Charlo fought? J. Rock Williams.
Mm-hmm. But it's not what he's done. It's what he's done with them. Like, he knocked
out J. Rock.
He's knocked guys out. When you're knocking guys out the way Charlo's knocking guys out, it's not like he's struggling to go 12 rounds. That fight he had against the boy that Eubank was fighting, and he got beat and he got injured. Matt Kobrov.
I thought he lost that fight.
Yeah, people said he lost that fight against Korobov. He lost the fight against Korobov. Korobov's a good fight.
Korobov winning.
See, Korobov's a good fight.
Yeah, politics have messed Korobov up. He got robbed a few times since. Obviously, Andy Lee knocked him out, but I thought Korobov beat Charlo, and that was a short notice fight as well. And Korobov was training to fight, I believe, at 150 something, but in that week.
Yeah, good fight. It was a good fight. Very good fight. I like
Bradis is class. So Usyk. I think Maris Bradis knocked out Manuel Charlo, who's currently got the regular belt.
That's what I'm saying.
Could be a force at heavyweight, Bradis.
But there's guys who manage in boxing. He'd be one of the guys that manage in boxing. Callum Johnson would manage in boxing. I would love to manage Callum Johnson.
I like Callum Johnson.
I would love to manage him.
Joe, I interviewed Johnson. I've got him on WhatsApp, and whenever I text him, he always texts back. He's a nice guy.
I love that boy. I think that boy could do so much in boxing. I think, look what he did to Beterbiev, and he wasn't even, as far as I'm concerned, fit enough to fight Beterbiev. And they want to put him in with Boatsy. You want to kill Boatsy or what?
Joe, I said that, right? I put on Twitter, I said Callum Johnson, in my opinion, would knock Boatsy out. The one we saw the other day.
Boatsy, listen, I've said it for the longest while. Ruben Guerrero can tell you. Boatsy can't block a right hand. He is vulnerable to the right hand. And you want to go in there against Callum Johnson, boxing like that? Yeah, all right, mate.
Yeah, Callum Johnson as well. He put Beterbiev on his ass.
This is what you got. That's what you got to understand. What I know,
the number one light heavyweight in the world right now.
What Hearn will try and do is say, don't get Johnson to fight too much and get Boatsy. Boatsy's another one who needs to change his trainer immediately, because he's
Johnson's inactive, isn't he?
He's not improving.
Boatsy. Who's Boatsy's best win? Marco Antonio Periban or something? Who the girl blitzed 6 years ago?
Boatsy is not improving. Boatsy needs another trainer. I'm sorry, he's not improving.
Who is his trainer?
I think he's an amateur coach from back in the day.
Yeah. That's not going to get him there.
Do you think
he's still a new trainer?
His current state, and you think they say, oh yeah, he should fight Yard. No, he shouldn't fight Yard. Yard's right hand is going to be a problem for him. But I think Yard's going to have problems against Lyndon Arthur.
Do you think Yard beats Boatsy?
Yes.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
The right hand. He can't get out of the way of the right hand. I just don't see...
Anthony Yard's another guy I like. I like Anthony Yard as well.
I like Yard. I do like Yard. But I don't know about this fight against him and
Arthur, yeah.
Arthur's tasty, you know. He's tasty. You know what I rate about Arthur? Is that he went for a tough fight with an African guy. He got hurt by the African guy, stuck in there, and still went 12 rounds. Now, can Yard, if he got hurt in a similar situation, can he stick it out and go 12 rounds and still win a fight? Can Yard do that? I don't know.
We haven't seen it.
That's what I'm saying to you. He's been in fights where he's been totally in control of.
Or he got destroyed by Kovalev.
Yeah. Now, I said with that Kovalev fight, strategy. If Yard had gone out against Kovalev and taken away that jab and walked to him instead of trying to box with him, he may have got a stoppage. Because when he went for the stoppage, it was around 8. If he'd gone for that earlier in the fight, like in round 4 or 5, it'd be interesting. He'd had more snap in his punches. Wouldn't have eaten so many jabs.
Yeah.
But, you know, they box, they stay on the outside. I want to try and box and say they're better than Andre Ward. That's dangerous stuff.
Not many people are better than Andre Ward to be in a, you know what I mean? So
Ward's a good fighter. Fights coming up. So, what's your take on this Dubois fight? Why is Dubois fighting Joyce, do you think?
I think it's a weird matchmaking, actually. I think Joyce, as well for Joyce, I thought Joyce would have been propelled by now. I think Joyce is getting on a bit. I thought Joyce, when he beat Lewison, didn't he? They were like, you know, within 5 or 6 fights, he'd be fighting world title eliminators. That's not happened. I do think Dubois, I think, because, like I said earlier on when Chris was on, I just think the fact that I haven't seen Dubois on the back foot and I haven't seen him having to deal with yeah, I've not seen him have to deal with anything that would make him have to think and have to adjust. We've seen Dubois throughout his whole career go on and move on the back foot, brawl, take people out, just batter them basically. Not even brawl, just batter them. We haven't seen him how he reacts if he take a punch off someone who can punch, and Joe Joyce is relentless. Let's be real, he just comes forward, can take a punch himself, and he keeps walking forward. And Joyce has fought some.
His amateur career is something we need to talk about as well. He beat Herkovich.
And also Joyce fought that World Boxing Super Series and took punches off guys like Usyk, you know, other guys.
And he beat Herkovich.
Yeah. And you know, would you favour
deep?
And Herkovich is better than Dubois.
Oh, come on, man. Exactly. Come on. That's what I'm saying.
I think Joyce, I want to see how if Dubois gets past Joyce, then I'll be like, okay, look, let's, you know. Yeah. But I haven't seen enough of Dubois to make me think he can beat Joyce. So
too basic. The key for me is Frank Warren signed a 5-year deal with renewed it with a 5-year deal with Dubois. So if he gets beat, it don't matter. But he's got to deliver for Joyce. That's how I think that fight's been sold.
But where does Joyce go after beating Dubois? Really?
WBA title
with Char, or do you mean that Joshua's WBA title?
Do you think they're going to let Joshua get anywhere near Joyce?
I think Joyce Char would be the fight to make.
Yeah, obviously.
I remember years ago, you told me that you think Dylan White should have gone for that WBA regular title. I think he should have done in hindsight. Because look what's happened to him now with the WBC and stuff like that. Obviously, Joshua had those belts, didn't he? The IBF, WBA. Obviously, I wasn't going to match that up again. So,
now look, now
I think you're onto something with that one.
Now look, I warned you all about the fight with White and Povetkin. You can't be turning a guy like Dillian White into trying to make him Floyd Mayweather. It's not going to happen.
What's White's style? What's Dylan White's style really?
Boxer brawler.
But he gets caught in the mix of two styles, doesn't he?
Well, he's a puncher brawler. I would say puncher brawler. Yeah, puncher brawler. Because
sometimes he tries to box, doesn't he? I think he tries to box too much.
In the Chisora fight, he was able to control Chisora with the jab. But Chisora is not Povetkin. And that stuff he was doing against Chisora, you can't do against Povetkin. Right? You're trying to use your very good against an OG. It ain't gonna work. So now Dillian's talking about, which is interesting, he's going back to his old style, which means he's basically saying, forget what you taught me in the first fight. I'm going back to my original stance, which is interesting. Because
I think that's a good idea.
If he goes back to being old Dillian White, so then there's a conflict of styles there. Because if his trainer said to him, this is the strategy I want you to fight, and Dillian turned and said, nah, I'm going back to fight the way I used to fight, what's the guarantee that Dillian White fighting the way he fought against Parker and Rivas is going to beat Povetkin. Based on the simple fact that both of those guys, Rivas, Parker, dropped him. Because
he went life and death with Parker.
Now, think about this. It's the opening, which is his defense. So he's going to be even more defensively susceptible to Povetkin in this rematch. And durability. You've been dropped by Rivas. You've been dropped by Parker. You got knocked out by Povetkin. You've had 28 days to recover. Joshua. Look at the way he got dropped by Joshua. Look at the way he got dropped by Rivas. And look at the way he got knocked out by Povetkin.
Did Chisora drop him, or did he just badly hurt him?
He dropped him with the uppercut.
White's been dropped a lot, hasn't he?
This is what I'm saying. He's been dropped by the uppercut. By Rivas, got dropped by Rivas, knocked out by Joshua with the uppercut, and he got knocked out by Povetkin by what? The uppercut. I said there's 3 ways Povetkin can win this fight. The uppercut through the middle, the right hand over the top, or the left hook over the top of the jab. 3 ways he can beat Dillian White. The uppercut was the opening he was looking for. And he landed 1 shot. Boom. Good night. 1 shot. 10 shots, 15 shots, 1 shot. So what his training camp, or what he's got to understand is, well, I'm going forward fighting maximum violence this time. But what about my defense? There was nothing wrong.
If he goes maximum violence, there is no defense. You went maximum violence with Chisora the first fight.
Yeah, and some people thought Chisora won the first fight.
I did.
I fight against Chisora, I said that Chisora would get flattened with a left hook. Nah, Dillian can't do that. Watch. Boom. Out flat. Out flat. Knock Chisora out. I don't know. But he says he's going back to the old style. But is the old style good enough to beat Povetkin? That's the question.
Povetkin's not exactly easy to break, is he? He's never been knocked out.
Stopped by Joshua, didn't he?
Joshua, yeah, but knocked out. I mean, what, didn't Povetkin go down his knee when Joshua stopped him? I'm not sure.
It was a good shot that Joshua hit him. Damn good shot. But he kept him on the jab for the fight. And then just hit the jab, bam, right hand through the middle. That was it. So it's interesting. Interesting. How are you seeing this Kubrat Pulev fight, by the way?
I favoured Joshua, but I'm not confident.
Why?
I'm not. Even if, say, if Joshua beat Ruiz the first fight, beat Ruiz again, and he was undefeated still, I'd still be saying the same. I think Pulev stylistically is not an easy fight for Joshua. I know people say, well, he's slow, robotic, one-dimensional European style, but I think Pulev's got some attributes that can trouble Joshua and get him on the back foot. And we see what happens when Joshua getting tagged on the back foot. He panics, doesn't know what to do.
Can you show me a fight where Joshua was effective on the back foot?
No.
That was the Ruiz fight because Ruiz wasn't in shape.
Well, there was 2. When he got put on the back foot by Klitschko, he didn't know what to do. He was gassing out. He was gassing out big time. Ruiz just, as soon as he knocked Joshua down, Joshua was just like this on the ropes, didn't know what to do. The third fight, the second fight with Ruiz, he just boxed him. He wasn't really in trouble. He just kept him at bay. But I've never seen Joshua adapt on the back foot and win a fight. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this Pulev fight.
See the punches he's been throwing.
Well, Joshua in training for this fight?
Yeah.
No, I've not seen any footage of Joshua in training for this fight yet. What's he been doing? Don't tell me he's been throwing the uppercuts. Man, Pulev's up here.
Why? People are enjoying it though. People love it. Go on, Josh, you can do it.
Well, Ruben, no. Because in the Parker fight, whenever Parker got Josh on the back foot, the referee was like this.
Yep. Yeah.
No. Every time Parker got in on the inside of Josh on the back foot.
Remember the second fight? And that,
again.
with the phantom punches. Remember that?
The Parker fight was terrible. Like if Parker, was getting in range, getting Josh on the back foot, unloading his punches. Referee was like, no, you can't do that. Come on, man. 12 rounds that was of that shit. Sorry for the language, but
that's all right. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. You asked me a question. Who is the pay-per-view star outside Joshua for matchroom boxing?
There isn't one, is there? In my opinion, there's no pay-per-view star. There's potential to have a pay-per-view fight between two fighters who can make a pay-per-view fight. There's no pay-per-view standalone. I mean, there's only two really in the whole world, really. I mean, who could do real numbers? You have to say Joshua, Canelo. I don't think Tyson Fury is a pay-per-view star on his own. Spence and Crawford, I don't think will be a big pay-per-view fight. I don't think it'll do big numbers like,
Spence
I mean,
Canelo?
Crawford could be on pay-per-view once with cost. Who's that?
Spence Canelo.
Oh, that's a big pay-per-view fight. Yeah, that's a big fight. I'd stay up and watch that fight. I think that's a big fight. If I was in the US, I'd pay for that fight, I think.
You know what a fight that needs to be made now? Eubank Saunders 2. Now.
I think that's a fight to be made.
Now.
You think Eubank lost Charlo, didn't he?
The winner fights Callum Smith.
Do you favour Saunders in the rematch?
No.
No, I think Eubank's got a good shot in that.
You know what? I saw that fight again, and Eubank had him out on his feet in about the 8th or 9th round. Catch him over, and right, boom! And Saunders' legs go on him.
And has Saunders improved since that? Has Saunders improved since the one he fought against Eubank?
He's gotten bigger.
Yeah, he has. But in terms of like actual in-ring ability, I think Eubank's. I think Eubank improved. I think he has a little to an extent since he fought. I mean, who's he got? He's got Roy Jones training him now, and I don't know how that's going to go.
I don't know how that's going to go. Oh, it's probably more likely to get himself knocked out.
Roy Jones got Havoc getting knocked out after he got smashed by Tyler.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know what Roy's giving Eubank.
So would you ask? I've had a lot of debates about Roy Jones in the past, and I'm sure you can do a intake on it. And people said that when he fought Ruiz and he came back down, he was shot because of the weight loss. And then some other people think that Roy was just very good at covering up, having a glass chin. What do you think was the reason why Jones ended up got beat by Tarver Johnson, didn't he? And I think there's been a lot of theories about that.
He came down from the heavyweight division back down to light heavyweight. He said his reason was he's trying to emulate a certain fighter. I couldn't remember who the fighter was he's trying to emulate. Now, that weight loss excuse is fine for one fight, but that weight loss excuse was the same weight loss excuse for the McInerney fight, for the Johnson fight. But the weight loss excuse wasn't a problem when he beat Jeff Lacey or he beat Tito Trinidad, right? He was fine there. He was fighting those fights.
But I mean, Jones. I mean, I remember watching a Johnson fight. Obviously, I was only about 6 years old when that fight was actually on. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. But when I watched that, and Jones was on the canvas for about 2 minutes. I mean, it's quite obvious that he was skeptical to a big punch. Really, I mean, it's obvious that he was hiding something. Like it, but in his prime, he was a great fight to watch. Fair enough. The opposition wasn't like on par.
We never knew, because I'd love to see what would happen if Nigel Bennett connected. Yeah,
or McLennan. Someone like
he never wanted that. He never wanted any part of McLennan.
They were friends.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of person you want to keep as a friend, right? So
McLennan would have had the Roy Jones chickens fighting, mate. Yeah, I mean, like, I remember my dad's favorite fight was Ben McLennan. His favorite ever fight was Ben McLennan, right? And he said he had predicted Ben winning that fight beforehand, which I thought was quite surprising. So I think a lot of people had McLennan winning that before.
Yeah. That was a savage fight.
It's a good, very good fight. But I mean, when you look back it was quite obvious that McLennan had something wrong with him, man, to be fair. It was commentating that got criticised. It was McGuigan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Yeah, Barry McGuigan, I think, who said, or was it McGuigan and Jim Watt, I want to say, who commentated that fight?
It was reckless boxing.
Bang on the chin. Bang on the chin.
Yeah. That's a god.
I remember when Froch fought, who did he fight? No, when White fought Joshua,
Yeah.
and White landed that left hook, he was like, oh, bang on the chin. Well, this is what White's got to do.
This is reckless boxing with Joshua.
I love Jim Watt. I miss him, man. Jim Watt's a great commentator.
He just disappeared. He literally just disappeared.
I think his daughter died.
Yeah.
And then I think he retired, didn't he, after that?
He disappeared. Like, Ian Dark was fantastic.
Ian Dark and Jim Watt.
I had a night out on the tower with Glenn McCrory. Oh, my word.
If I could pick one guy from boxing to have a drink with, it would be Glenn McCrory.
Well, I had a drink with him. I had a few drinks with him in Sheffield. Oh, my God. And we talked about boxing and life. And, oh, my God. Gentleman Glenn.
My favourite Glenn McCrory moments, when he's had a few drinks and he clicks that log on button on Twitter, I'm there, mate, with the popcorn. I'm there with the popcorn, the Coke. Obviously, I have my Coke, popcorn. And he's sitting there and he's tweeting garbage, man. I don't think he knows what he's tweeting.
I love him. I love Glenn. I love him. He's one of the real ones.
That's why Sky got rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember Gary? Was it Nelson? Was it Gary Nelson? He had Nicky Piper, Gary Mason. Oh, I loved Gary Mason. Who else? They had Barry McGuigan. And there was another guy, Paul Dempsey. I love Paul Dempsey. Yeah. Surprised him and David Hay are still talking so well. Remember when Paul Dempsey pulled David Hay?
Money. Some people think you've come back because of the money. David Hay was like, "Nah, I'd fight for free." No, you wouldn't. No, you.
Probably the most queasiest moment of the year so far. Paul Dempsey on BT Sports saying about Black History Month. He goes, "Now we're going to go to a man in the know. A man in the know." I thought he's going to talk to David Hay.
Steve Bunce.
Flipping on Steve Bunce. Yeah. What? Let's see what I can tell you about Black History Month. Yeah. So I'm the man in the know. I'm the man who knows, right? I'm like, oh my God. Finish. I was absolutely finished at that point. I thought, you know what? We're done. If Steve Bunce, you've got a mixed race guy in there, he could talk a little bit about Black History Month. You can use David Hay. No. Steve Bunce. Why is he the man best informed? Or best placed?
Everyone was saying that.
Can you explain it to me, Cameron? Because maybe I didn't get it.
I mean, it's quite insulting to David Hay, who was sitting there. He was sitting right there. But nah, I didn't make no sense to me. Thank God.
Are you going to have to cut soon?
Yeah, probably. My missus is going to bed in a minute, so...
Yeah, okay. I understand. Totally get it. Cameron,
yeah, it was great talking.
Pleasure talking to you, and we should do it again.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be tuning into the Pro Revolution stream if you're still doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to do it now. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cameron Gillon.
Thanks for having me on.
Social media.
Follow me on Twitter. It's just at Cameron Gillon _. Simple as that.
Fantastic. Cameron, thank you so much. And we'll see you soon, Chad. It's great to have you back.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Good
Take
night.
it easy, man.
So we just had Cameron Gillon there. And also, I was just about to say to you as well, Bilal, we did do a talk about the lightweight division. Small take back. And we'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching this show tonight on BWTM. It was great to have an old schooler back. And I'm looking forward to having more faces back on the channel. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be talking to Mike Tyson's former trainer, Stacey McKinley, and who knows, we may even get Bashir back as well. Have a good one. Take care.